Welcome to the Beer Caddy podcast. And if you're listening on Spotify, I'm sorry for the really long intro. I forgot how long that intro was.
And the thing is, on Spotify, they won't see that screensaver with your face next to the clown. That just makes me laugh every single time I see it.
It's so silly, isn't it? It's so silly. So, introduce yourselves. I'll start with the man below because he's just taken a mouthful of beer, and that's funny.
Why is that funny?
Well, just because you were just drinking, and I thought I'll try and catch you off guard.
Straight in there. I'm Paul from Paul's Beer Reviews. All right.
And to his right or his left is.
My name's Tom. I'm the Crummy Beard, and I've been masquerading as someone who knows something about beer for the last 2 years, and it's all a lie.
And above or next to me is.
I am Mark from the Craft Beer Hub YouTube channel.
And we are doing like a recap of 2022, what went on, what were the fun things, what were the not so fun things, highlights. Like, I look back, I feel like last year was a really long year. I can't believe we did so much. Well, I can't believe I did so much stuff. I don't know about you guys.
Yeah, it was a bit like that.
So
Summer
what was
just insane.
what was the first adventure everybody went on?
Ooh. Was it Beer X?
Probably
Yeah.
was,
When was the Canadian trucker stream? Was that?
That might have been before, you know.
It was early.
it was all snowy, wasn't it?
I bet it was, you know.
I feel
That-
like it was early.
I think that has to be one of the maddest things that I've ever experienced online in any kind of in any kind of way.
It did
Yeah.
make me laugh.
I was.
It was the oddest thing that I've ever been asked to do, which was I rang you up to tell you that your stream was kicking off, and there was 8,000 people in it, and you said, "Would you mind taking over?" Well, I thought I'd been, I thought I'd been bluffing beer. That was a whole different level of bluff I had to pull off there. That was absolutely, Don't know what's going on.
That was when your love for vehicles gets you in trouble. That was one of them moments. I didn't realise what was happening. We'd stumbled across. Basically, Trudeau had shut down all the media apart from his media, and they were showing nothing. And I just thought it'd be fun to try and find some live cameras and watch all the trucks arrive in Ottawa. That was it. That was as far as it. I hadn't really thought about the politics of it all. I just thought, oh, that'd be interesting. And then we were in the supermarket, and I said, "Lids, there's 1,000 people on the live stream." She was like, and they're going mad. And they were like proper. They were kicking off because the cameras that I'd live streamed had been set up by the government on YouTube, and they were fake. They were showing that there were no vehicles. They were just like 4-hour-long loops. So
Is that what they were?
yeah,
I
that's
did not
what they
know
were.
that.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. So what I did was when I got back, I was like, "Oh my gosh, I've got to sort this out." So I jumped on, and then I started pulling in stuff from that. I said, "Look, send me any links you've got for people on the ground on Instagram, and I'll stream it." And I just said, "Look, I'll stay impartial. I don't want to get involved. I'll let all of you have your say, but just keep it civil." And they did. I thought they were very respectful.
That was mental.
It was mad. It was mad. I wasn't. I was out that day. Couldn't get involved, and I thought you were winding me up. And I turned it on. I mean, how many people were actually watching it in here?
I think that at high point it was 8,000 in chat.
Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. It was just a free for all. I thought, what has John done here? Unleashed some sort of monster that he had no idea was coming. Yeah, madness.
That's exactly what it was, a monster.
It was,
But
yeah.
I've been on YouTube at that point. I think I've been on YouTube for like 3 months, and I think I just started doing lives, and I might have got like 25 in a live. And then I jumped on. And there was like three at the time. I jumped on. There's 3,500 people, and I'm sitting there in my kitchen because I hadn't got all this set up. And I'm thinking, there's 3,500 people like watching me sit in my kitchen, drink beer. Hi, hello, Canadians.
I think the best bit was I'm pretty sure your other half walked in a dressing gown and just walked out of shot again.
Yeah. Yeah, oh man, that was crazy. I mean, like, just didn't expect it, out of my depth. I wish I'd split the stream up because I let it run. I think we did 12 hours and it never saved it. I think I've got 6 hours of it, which I keep threatening to put the video up. I should really at some point from a historical point of view, but at one point I was just going to call it a day right at the beginning, and it was a mother that messaged me on Instagram, and she said, "I don't agree with what they're doing, but my son is there. Please, will you just keep streaming because I'm terrified that something's going to happen to him?" And I said, and I said, "Yeah, I will." That was it. So that was the main reason I carried on with it, because I thought, well, if my son was there or my daughter, I'd want to know. So, I thought, well, we'll roll with it. And that's what we did. The super chats went mental. I mean, we couldn't even keep up with super chats at one point.
That was bonkers. It turned into basically, it was almost like a public service stream for the Canadians, wasn't it? Because unless you were in Ottawa, you would, like you say, you wouldn't have got that footage. And some of the messages that were coming in saying, "Thank you for doing this for the Canadian people," and I'm sitting there thinking, John literally started this stream to look at trucks.
Yeah, literally. I just want to see Peterbilts and Kenworth trucks rolling, honking their horns. I want to see some Freightliners. That was it. It was like, but I think it was pretty good. So it's interesting because somebody said that I did it just to grow my channel. I just like to say, we all do videos to grow our channel. That's the whole point of YouTube.
It's kind of the point, guys.
It's kind of what it is. But also the other thing is I'd already gone over 1,000 subscribers because Simon had come up. Simon from Real Ale Craft Beer had come up to the brewery and pushed his followers to get involved and got us over 1,000. So we were already monetized.
That must have been your first big thing of the year, or was that late the year before?
I think that was late the year before.
Was it? Okay.
I'm not sure, it might have been.
It was shortly before, I think it was shortly before I joined YouTube. So I joined YouTube sort of mid to end of November, I think.
Okay, the year before then. Ignore me.
Yeah. So that was pretty epic. I gained loads of subscribers. Unfortunately, it kind of nuked my channel because what happened is I got all those subscribers, but not all of them were what they don't care about my brewery. They don't care about my beer. So I expected to lose nearly all of them, but actually I only lost, I think, 900 subscribers of the several thousand that we got. So, yeah, it's only just really towards the back end of the year equalised, and then I started growing again. So I think we're at 2,770 now, which, when you consider how little content I do, it's quite a miracle. So I'm sorry if I'm coughing down the podcast, but so yeah, the next one really was BeerX, I guess. So Paul and Mark, you were there. Tell me what you thought of BeerX.
There's
a lot of nodding going on.
Paul's nodding just says everything. It was just a fantastic. It was obviously it was my first experience on a beery adventure. My first time actually meeting you, John, and you, Paul, in person. No, it wasn't, John. Actually, second time for you because I come up to your lager launch, didn't I, in Huddersfield?
That's right, yeah.
First time meeting Simon. First time meeting Captain Meets Adventures. Who's just one of the subscribers. But, he was, yeah, that was a life-changing moment. That was.
Roller coaster.
I'm not sure if it was for better or for worse, but no, it was just a really, really well organised event and just a great time. We had a blast, didn't we? It was so good.
Oh, Paul, what are you saying? I can't hear you, Mike.
So what's the roller coaster? What's his name?
Ah,
Roller coaster ride.
yeah, I
Is that
don't
it?
know what his actual name was.
I don't know what his real name was.
Him and that camcorder.
Yeah, Paul's not saying anything.
Don't know, well, what can you say? What can you say?
It was one of the funniest things, I think. I had a headache at the end of the night, not from beer, from laughing.
Yeah,
Oh,
I feel like something happened at Beer X that's not been talked about yet. Because Paul's looking very sheepish.
But we had some.
After a few beers, a strange-looking old bloke pointing a camera at you, ran like secretly. He wasn't like doing it blatantly. He was secretly recording me.
You'd just see this little red light come on, wouldn't you, in the darkness of the taxi, and you'd be like, "Turn it off."
I've no, you know what I'm like. After I've had a few beers, there's no filter, right? So yeah, when this guy sneakily recorded, like, mate, just do one. Seriously, just stop it. But I didn't say it as polite as that.
I was there, and I can confirm that I just was in uncontrollable fits of laughter.
Yeah.
And it was just the funniest thing ever. The whole night was just total carnage. Captain Meats gets up in the middle of this pub, tells everyone to shut up. He's like, oh, no, what started it was, he said, oh, I want to do some stand-up. They normally do stand-up comedy in here, but they haven't got any on. And then he just gets up, doesn't he, and tells everyone to be quiet. And his opening line was, I've been let go from my job. I've been sexually assaulted by the boss. And like, literally, I'm dying. I'm like, I want to climb under the tables so nobody can see me. And he goes, it's crazy because I'm self-employed. And the whole pub erupted with laughter. Oh, the whole pub just erupted with laughter. Everybody's dying. Oh, man, it was amazing.
Beer X was good. Loved Beer X. And Liverpool as well, by the way, as a city. The people, it was a class act from start to finish, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah.
It was good. Good fun. Like I say, it was a well-organised event, wasn't it? It was interesting talking to a lot of different types of people in the industry, not just brewers, but people in the multi-game, people in the design game, the can wrap game. It was interesting. Really was. People who make the brewing kit. It was interesting.
It was good to speak to Yakima Chief had a stall there, didn't they? And they had all the cryo stuff compared to the normal hot pellets. And it was just good to speak to them about sort of flavour intensity, how that, I don't know, I won't get too nerdy with it all, but it was, really interesting. Very different thing to like GBBF and Brew London and all the rest of it. Very different, but it was good for it. And there was still, I mean, the beers, what were the beers? Like £1, was it £1.50 a third? Is that what it was?
They're not so much money.
And that was across the board, whether it was a 3.8% bitter or a 12% imperial stout, wasn't it? It was.
I like that bit. That regardless of what token you bought, it covered beer coming. That was
I think for me, the funniest was seeing Simon go off to do the tasting and come back completely leathered.
Yeah.
He was absolutely done when he got back. And he's like, I need a coffee.
He was all dressed up for it and all, wasn't he? He had a lovely shirt, a nice jacket on.
A linen jacket, didn't he?
Yeah, that's it.
On those scooters.
Oh my
God. Linen feels very absorbent for a beer festival.
It was brave.
Sorry, I didn't find
those bloody scooters. We ended up renting these scooters, didn't we? It took us about 45 minutes to get them registered and everything else. And then, if anyone's ever ridden those like inner city battery scooters, you know how heavy they are. Like to lift up, they are really heavy.
We're Madame Tussauds.
We had to scoot from the middle of the city down to the kind of exhibition Docklands area, didn't we? And we didn't realise that as we rode into the Docklands, all the scooters died because it was a pedestrianised area. Do you remember? And then we basically had to kick these like 2-ton, well, what felt like 2-ton at the time, scooters for about half a mile up to the exhibition centre to park them. And you had to park them in a specific spot, so you couldn't just abandon them. So we had to take them like all the way up the top of the docks to park. It was just funny. It was just a really funny couple of hours.
We'll get some looks, won't we? 4 full-grown men flying through the middle of Liverpool on the way to the docks on these scooters.
Screaming their heads off.
Well, screaming our heads off. Like, that was good.
John, you're still muted.
Speak up, John.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Sorry, I was trying. I'm coughing. I've got a chest infection, so I'm trying not to cough down the microphone. My blooming scooter had flat tires. I mean, they weren't flat, but they were flat. So when it came to pushing, flipping heck, I felt like I was pushing a motorbike. I was like, this is ridiculous. And people were all laughing at me, like, look at the fat lads trying to push a scooter. But yeah, that was funny. So what was the next adventure after that? What was it Brew London after that?
Shortly after that was go-karting in the snow, wasn't it?
Go-karting.
Yeah. Yes, of course. Wow.
April we did that. Was that April? March?
I thought it was beginning of May.
Could have been May. It might have been April. Let's have a look.
Got to be April.
Yeah, we're looking at the calendar.
Yeah, definitely. I'm sure it was April.
Weirdest day of weather ever.
Oh, mate.
Ridiculous. Sideways rain, sideways snow. Brilliant sun. It's just...
I was like, you know what we need to do, boys? We need to book a charity go-karting day with a bunch of motor racing celebrities in the worst weather possible.
It was quite impressive. Every season, all at the same time. And it was the 31st of March, for reference.
Oh.
So it was like literally like a couple of weeks after BRX, wasn't
it? Yeah, it must have been.
Pretty close behind.
But that was exciting.
That day was a joke. We turned up. It was like being on the Costa del Sol, and you could see this like Independence Day style cloud approaching. You know, good sort of 20 miles away. And these, if for the benefit of those not watching on Spotify, John, Paul, and Crummy all got to do some nice dry practice laps, didn't you, boys?
Great, thank you. Yeah, lovely one.
And then I got in the car, and it was when this cloud decided to open up with rain, I think, initially, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Was it rain or snow initially?
I think it was rain first.
Rain first. Absolutely. And I'm talking, you couldn't see through the visor. Like the rental visors are scratched to hell anyway, aren't they? You can't see out of them normally on a sunny day. And it was like, oh, hard luck, Mark. You know, better luck in the race, won't you? Nah. It got worse. It got worse.
I had snowy practice, so I was out there. I managed to do like 4 laps without spinning, but then I started to get passed by these little whippets, and they were like really passing me fast because I thought, yeah, I can run on slicks in the wet. I'm all right, and I was fine. But then when I started getting past, I was like, I'm not having this. I'm not having it. So I started to try to go fast. Well, I just got more and more angry. I'm glad I didn't have a GoPro on because there was a lot of expletives going on inside the crash helmet. But I managed to get the dry race. Actually, like the little bit that I got to race was dry. So, and then I handed the go-kart to Mark. I'd driven the pants off it, and I might have broken it.
Yeah. Burnt the clutch out, and then 2 laps into my stint, it come down with a blizzard of snow. And at one point, the cart stopped working because I kept spinning out. I'm thinking, this is really weird. Like I just started to spin the cart out every corner, And I thought, this is a bit weird. Then the cart died, and basically what was happening was the clutch was knackered. So the clutch was locking the rear wheels, and I was just spinning round every time I went on the throttle. And then I stood at the top of the track for about 8 laps in the freezing cold. I was really unhappy. The bloke was like, do you want me to get your replacement cart? I said, no. And he did anyway.
No.
Oh,
You were quick, though, because I got us unlapped and got us a few back, so we weren't last. And then you managed to hold that.
I was definitely
though-
passing people. As soon as I got that new cart, that was fine. The first cart, I just couldn't. It was knackered. I jumped in it. It was knackered. You absolutely killed it because you were gunning it. I mean, we were standing on the sidelines, weren't we, lads? And we were like, John's gunning it.
Maybe too much in hindsight, but yes.
Yes.
Yeah, you drove rather than around the corners, didn't you, John? Let's be honest.
I did right. Okay, I've got no defense for this because I've downloaded Assetto Corsa Competizione. Is it?
Yep.
On the Xbox, I've got Series X thingy there, and I've got my Logitech seat and everything, and I'm like, yeah, simulation finally. Cat flipping heck. All I get is track limits. I'm like, over a curb, over another curb, over a curb. Track limit. I'm like, flipping track limits. And that game, it rewards you for driving consistently and smoothly. Now, I'm a 2-stroke. That's what I raced. Weird sprint races. We'd go all out, sideways, on the curb, pushing, shoving, all that. Can't do it anymore. So, we... What about Paul when I went with you and Abby? And they said, you can't go on the curbs. I was like, what? What do you mean you can't go on the curbs? That's what we do.
I do it. That's why I do this under the curbs. Yeah. Hey.
Yeah. That was funny. That was it. I really enjoyed that first one as much as it was complete carnage. It was a good laugh. I mean,
my favourite bit out of that particular day was you getting a shave and spending the next 2 weeks looking like the professor from Monsters University. That was my favourite.
He did literally. That was amazing. That was amazing.
I did look like the guy from Monsters University.
You did.
Yeah.
It was the spitting image.
You did. You looked like a jacket potato with a moustache. It was brilliant.
I walked in for my stint and I said to everybody, where's John? And you guys were like, he's there. And he was literally about 10 metres away. I just didn't recognise him.
Oh, no.
More hair on an egg.
The best was Steve Brown, Super GT. And I said, so I bought him a beer. I'd gone off, shaved my beard, went back to the bar. He was there. I said, oh, do you want a beer? It's like, he's like, oh, God, what have you done to yourself? And I was like, I did it for charity. It'll grow back. But his reaction was priceless. He just looked literally at me like, don't ever do that again. So yeah, that was funny.
It was very funny.
And then was that one that I had to shoot back up north, didn't I? Because Kobe was rushed into hospital with appendicitis.
Yeah,
you had to go that night, didn't you?
Yeah. So then it wasn't urgent until when I got in the van, and then the phone started to ring. Oh, he's going in for an operation. Lydia's crying her eyes out, and Casey's all upset, and uncles and aunties have stepped in to babysit, and that van. I did some. Well, you saw me on the track. I can assure you that my Vauxhall Vivaro Sportive is pretty quick in the snow.
Can you imagine the police reports? Can you describe the man?
I definitely got flashed and never got a ticket.
Interesting.
And that was,
you were home in what, 2 hours?
Yeah, just about 2 hours.
That's obscene.
And it was
to be fair, John,
go on.
I was going to say you were lucky to not get pulled over because had the policeman seen those white shoes, that's 3 points.
forgot about the shoes.
You got 3 points for speeding and 3 points for those.
Oh, I forgot about the bad tash and the shoes all at the same time.
Hey, easy. My Puma. What they
You could
call
have-
Puma racing?
Talked yourself out of it, and then once they'd seen the shoes, it would have been game over. All that.
Can you step out the car, please, mate? Whoa, what?
Reliability.
I look like a ballet dancer, a fat ballet dancer. There was one point where everybody had slowed down and they were all in the slow lane and the hard shoulder, and the fast lane and the middle lane were just complete snow. And that's when I got flashed.
Damn. But you didn't get a ticket.
I think the snow saved me, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm about to say, you might have overexposed the camera from the snow.
But it was like a 2-lane thing.
Yeah.
So they might not have got the reg because I was so sideways. But yeah, that was pretty exciting. I remember getting into Huddersfield, where you come off through Flockton. It's full of speed cameras everywhere. So I was just like, I've got to get back, and I'm braking hard all the time. And I got into coming down the hill. It used to be a BMW garage, and there's a gym there and another speed camera. I slowed down, and it's all massive glass windows. And you could see the front discs orange.
It's hot.
they were hot. Anyway, yeah, got back. Luckily, Cobes was all right. Bless him. Yeah, pretty scary
I forgot
time.
about that part of the day.
Yeah, that was a scary. Do you know the weird bit is when I drove down to Paul's and Abby's, I had this foreboding feeling. And I thought it might be because I'm so unfit. I felt like I might have a heart attack whilst I was racing, but it wasn't that. It wasn't that. But I get these weird foreboding feelings sometimes, and there's something around the corner. I don't know why. Just do.
Spidey sense, mate.
I am. Yeah, spidey senses. If you're on YouTube, do you have spidey senses like that? Put it in the comments. I want to know.
I had this...
Without a rope.
You what, Paul?
Can you climb walls without a rope? Things like that.
Yeah.
Have you kissed anyone whilst hanging upside down?
Because no, out of nowhere.
I have this thing where I think, I love the time I worked on that job with the red ladders, and then there'll just be like a red ladder, it's like a red ladder factory. Do you know, like those weird sort of like where you're like, how has that happened? Like, where would I ever think about red ladders? And it's really random. I have those moments where you just think someone's watching me here.
Well, this is what Crumby said yesterday when we found out about Ken Block. He was like, what is this rubbish AI that we live in? This is when Schumacher had his skiing accident.
No, Schumacher's birthday on the same day that Ken Block had a severe snow sports accident.
Oh, man. Is that what it was?
Yeah. It's still an odd coincidence out of all the days of the year.
Yeah.
Did you see that guy that was in the Avengers run himself over with a 4.5-ton snowplow?
Yeah, it's not a good time to own snow equipment.
Yeah.
Why the hell does he own a 4.5-ton snowplow? He's a movie star worth about $100 million.
Lives in a snowy area, I guess. I don't...
Look, we all I sympathise with heavy machinery porn. I think I'm all about diggers, snow plows. If I could afford one, if I had some snow to plow, I'd buy one. I love it.
You would. I don't doubt that.
You'd be like, it's all right. It's all right, Kirklees. I've got this one. Oh, big old flipping Detroit diesel V8. Whoa, all up the road. With I Love Greta on the back. Just stacks of
it's putting out that much pollution that it's actually melting the snow rather than shoveling it.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah. Double-edged bit of kit.
So, and I think also it was a learning curve for me with the go-karting. It was a moment that I realised I am definitely washed up and too fat for this. I got beat so bad.
Well, one thing we haven't mentioned is we managed to get probably one of the best YouTube go-karters, if not the best YouTube go-karter on the scene in Super GT.
Did we not qualify first? So technically, definitely the best.
Yeah. And so he qualifies first, goes out for his first stint.
Sorry, Jimmy.
Goes out for his first stint, gives the kart to us, and we finished where?
Third from last.
Third from last.
Hey, but we looked cool doing it.
We did.
I didn't, because my overalls were flapping open because I busted them because I'm not too big.
Oh, that was funny.
That's something else I forgot about. As soon as Tom sat down, he went full on Michael Jackson. Boom!
Just hulked out of this thing.
I'm in business.
So funny.
Oh, gosh. That was a good day.
Those overalls, they make them for fat people, they make them for tall people. They don't make them for fat and tall people, and that's the problem.
It's true.
Yeah. Not the one. Not the one.
It's very true.
Sparko, if you're listening, so we're out.
No, Sparkos are good. I've got a Sparko one now. It was whatever their own one was.
Oh,
Yeah,
they would have been like Aldi or Lidl middle aisle jobbies, wouldn't
Yeah.
The gloves definitely were.
they? Oh my god.
My hands.
Oh god, yeah. You mashed them both up, didn't you? Did you do it every time? Definitely did it when it was just me and you and Abby.
Yeah, so I didn't do it weirdly on the first race meeting, and I didn't do it, but I did have. I think I took my. So when I was in New York the previous year, I bought these Hardy American work gloves, which I've still got, and they're still intact. And I wore them. I was fine. There was not a bit of anything on my hands. When me, Paul, and Abby went, I literally burnt holes in the middle of my hands, like big blisters. And the skin just peeled right off. And then I bought racing gloves. I thought I'll buy racing gloves. And then when we went the second time, I started getting the blisters again.
Super GT gave me some of his gloves, so I was absolutely loving life. I had these like probably £200 Sparko racing go-karting gloves that were just soaked. I gave them back to him. They were like done from the snow.
Did he lent you his gloves? What a top
Yeah,
dude.
he lent me his gloves, yeah. Because the other ones were like what you see the labourers in Travis Perkins' yard wear, weren't they?
They were, yeah.
Sort of like dipped in cloth, like dipped in rubber, and that was it. It was like,
Yeah, they were rough. They were rough. And then, so what was the next adventure after we did go-karting? Was it you and me, Crumby, when we went to Donington Park? Or did we have Brew London and then Donny Park one?
When was Brew London?
middle May.
Yeah, it was May.
I think we went to Donington in May as well.
It might have been the same month.
Hmm.
So that was a wicked adventure. Me and
What
Crummy
did you do there?
Oh, what didn't we do? Me and Crummy got
Great
we
day.
got it was a beautiful day. We were stood on like the VIP balcony at Donington Park, and we were just casually talking to a guy next to us that had won Le Mans.
What?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
He's basically a racing god. You win Le Mans in any category, you're a racing god.
Yeah.
And he'd won it. He'd won it multiple times as well, and entered a classic car every. He did the classic Le Mans, didn't he? Then
Yeah.
he was saying.
Bloomin' heck. Fair play.
So we got food. We got
Full VIP treatment.
everything.
Was that through Jimmy Broadbent and Praga?
Yeah.
Yes, it was.
Not bad.
Had a great time.
That's good.
Crummy even got a foot rub. It's amazing.
A what?
Oh,
Foot
yeah,
rub.
but only because John really wanted to do it.
Who did we meet? We met Ben Collins, didn't we? He was there.
He was
The old
there.
Stig.
Abby Eaton was there. What's she called? Jem. She was at the go-kart in the second time. Jem Hepworth, is it? Blonde hair. She's good. She was Jimmy's teammate at the time. Good
Oh,
driver,
yeah, I know.
Gaudy Much. He's hilarious. I love
Gordy.
Gordy.
Much.
Yeah, what a dude. Just stand out people. I can't help myself when I go racing. I've become a complete and utter social retard. I just get so nerdy and in awe of the people around me. I don't know how to behave. I'm like, hi, hello. Terrible.
A little bit. There was a bar in a bus there. That was cool.
That was cool.
In an old school double decker. John saw some go-karts, got very excited. Remember that?
How quick were those go-karts?
They were insanely fast.
Were they shifter carts or were they, with body kits on them and stuff?
Yeah.
There was, what was the other series? There was a series racing. There was all the same. It wasn't minis. It was
Clios.
There were a lot of Clios, but I was thinking of someone else.
Oh,
Another series.
Was it Porsche? I feel like there were a load of Porsche.
No, it was like I want to say it wasn't Radical and it wasn't Caterham, but it was something like that. Oh, it could have been.
Yeah, I think it was.
Yeah,
the little MX-5 looking things.
Yeah, but not. Yeah,
they had a habit of turning to confetti.
G20s, G20s. They are
a lot of those. Some of them making interesting noises in the pits. Good to watch people working on stuff. But yeah, we had a great time. Wasn't very beery. We had to drive home, but it was a good adventure. It certainly was.
And then that was the best as well. When I rang Crummy, I was like, Crummy, are you free this weekend? Or in 2 weeks' time? Or whatever. It was like,
oh no, it was a you free tomorrow. That was how close.
Oh, was it? Was it that close?
Yeah.
Because I only got the tickets last minute.
It might have been a Thursday for a Saturday, maybe. Maybe it was a day before. But
yeah. And you were like, hell yeah, I'm there. It was like absolutely no convincing Crummy. It was like, yep.
Fine.
That was good. So, and then it was Brew London. So Brew London was
incredible.
I've never seen you as drunk in my life. Paul's got evidence, haven't you, Paul?
We do indeed. Do indeed.
It was only when Abby sent me through the extended version. I've never seen the extended version.
So good. So good.
Did she call it the director's completely cut?
But
leaning, he had his suitcase with him, and as he's talking, he was leaning, so the wheels were just rolling down the hill. That was good.
Yeah, that was good. Good couple of days that was in Brew London, wasn't it? I really enjoyed it. That was like highlight of my year. That's probably like the number one moment for me, Brew London.
The funniest was in the morning when Paul told me about trying to put you to bed.
Thing is, I had loads of beer in my suitcase that I bought up, and I wanted to just continue the party in the hotel room.
Trying to get Mark actually into his hotel room was a chore. It was. I got all these beers. Come on, let's have a party. And he kind of collapsed to the floor as he got into the door and started rummaging around in the suitcase. And I literally had to kind of pick his feet up to kind of flip him into the, and then just shut the door behind him, because by this point he was down, he wasn't getting back. Like, yeah, you just stay there. So I grabbed his ankles and rolled him into the room. I was like, all right, see you later, mate.
Well, that was a Travelodge or a Premier Inn, and their beds are on little caster wheels. And when I woke up in the morning, the bed was in the middle in the room. I was on like an island. You know, like when you got the headboard and the pillows fall off the end of the bed. The pillows had gone off the end of the bed. I was like laying there like with my head all the way back on the mattress.
Oh my
It
gosh.
was a good like meter away from the headboard. God knows what had gone on.
You look like death at breakfast.
But I wasn't as bad as Simon.
Properly. Right, John, listen, we'll log out on the phone and log back in on the laptop because I've got it now.
Okay. Yeah, no worries.
Shall we pause and so you can just edit this bit cleanly?
Yeah, that's a good idea. We'll pause. Well,
I mean-
I've got to end the recording. I'll end
No,
it.
don't end it. We'll just stop talking for a minute until he comes back in, and then we carry on. Then you can cut this bit out.
All right. Okay.
I'll be right back.
Okay. Bosh, here he is.
There he is.
That's better.
Oh, you sound bad. Why are your lights all off in the background?
Because I turned on. I mean, I got a new light and I turned it on. It just came up as a yellow blur behind me. Apparently, the camera doesn't like it, which is an issue. But there you
go.
Yeah.
You need to get a normal Windows laptop. That's what you need to do. Anyway, where were we? We were talking about Brew London, and we were talking about how utterly drunk Simon was.
Yes.
So at breakfast, he was eating bits of. He did manage a bacon sandwich, but had to get up, go outside, take breathers multiple times during bacon sandwich time.
Yep.
It took him that long to eat it. By the end of him, by the last mouthful, the actual sandwich was out of date.
Yeah, he was in a bad way when
he was rough.
He was playing a classic game of Chomp and Chunder. Every chomp he had to go and have a chunder. It was well funny.
Yeah.
Chomp and Chunder. I've never heard of that.
I didn't realise how bad he got. It was just when we went up at the end of the night and he was on the table, head down in his hands, with a massive bin next to him where he'd obviously been yakking up. I was just like, wow. But how did that happen? Yeah.
He is lucky we had that upstairs room, the crow's nest or whatever he called it.
Yeah. Yeah, the crow's nest was awesome. That was like our little hideaway. We could have a breather. Lots of other breweries are getting jealous that we had that, actually. I didn't realise.
It was probably like it. I'm not saying that made the festival. It didn't, but in its own thing. But it was nice to have that space. Do you know what I mean? Like we could just go. I think we recorded a podcast with the guys from
Four Fingers Brewery. No, Rock, Paper, Scissors. That was it.
Always get those two mixed up.
Give me the salute.
There we go.
Everyone in.
There we go. It was just nice to go and have a breather, wasn't it?
Yeah,
absolutely.
We had our stash of water, which was that the one where? No, it was a year before when I nearly spewed.
No, we planned this year. We brought water with us this year. Yeah.
Well, you bought water and snacks, and then I heard about the year before about there being no water and snacks. So I stopped at Tesco Express when I got off the train that end, and I come in with like 4 Tesco bags of water and snacks. We end up drunkenly eating like prawn cocktail Pringles at the end of the night. Like,
the funniest bit was me and Mark had run the bar. And we'd been on the bar for a bit, and then the girls
we worked it. Wouldn't say we ran it.
and then Mark's like, right, I'm finishing now. The girls wanted to kick us off basically because we were getting a bit leery and silly on the bar.
Yeah. So
we got booted by the girls, and then Mark's like, right, I'll see you later. Me and Paul were like, oh, right, okay, where are you going? He's like, oh, I'm going down to see Redeem. I was like, oh, okay.
Oh,
and he had a
the worst decision I made.
I don't think you even said that, did you? I think you literally said, I was just going to have a quick look around.
Oh, is that what you said? I can't remember.
Yeah, I was just going to go and have a look about, get a beer in that. And about, 3 hours later, you came back absolutely steaming. And we just the transformation.
And Redeem has now got a Lord's glass. And Mark, have you got your Budvar glass?
Yeah, it's downstairs. Yeah, it's downstairs. I got my pills in the glass.
That was a hilarious, blooming funny.
But on the way to see Redeem, I'd stopped at the Vibrant Forest, and they'd done this. I think I've got a can somewhere. There you go. They'd done this beer called Stygian Abyss, which was a cognac barrel-aged imperial coffee stout that was just incredible. And I said to them, when you're drunk, you're like, oh, I really love that beer. And they must have been thinking, go away, mate. But they were actually really accommodating. Good imperial, like 14%. Oh, have I frozen again?
For a moment.
I love it. Oh, dear. It cracks me up.
And I started drinking. I know I had at least a pint of 14% Imperial Stout at Vibrant Forest.
Wow.
And then I went to see Redeem, and he just finished the job off.
Yeah.
Yeah, Redeem. It's just like, have a beer, have a beer, have a beer. I'm like,
those Czechs can drink, I can tell you. My God.
They put it away, don't they? They do put it away.
oh yeah.
And the way he pours that Budvar, it's weird, isn't it? It's almost like it's hard to explain because if you drink Budvar often, it's out of a bottle or a can, so you'd never experience it. But if you get that proper side tap pour, it's like creamy. It's got like the creamy, almost a creaminess of Guinness, but you're drinking lager and it goes down I don't know. It's weird. It's so strange.
It's completely revolutionized how I pour a lager. Even in the tap room, the amount of like foam, and you've seen it, I'm just like, get it all in there, leave it for 30 seconds, top it up. And then it's not gassy. People are like not burping and farting for England after and going, I couldn't have another one. I feel they're like, yeah, give me another beer.
Yeah.
Well, there's that really interesting short on YouTube, isn't there? That American bartender. He talks about how you degas a beer, and he's got two of those, those paper wrapped Stella bottles. He kind of cracks one and pours it the way we did a year ago, let's say. Then he does it again by degassing the beer, literally just dumping the beer in the glass, and he drops a bit of tissue in both. And the amount of reaction and the way the carbonation hits that tissue in the beer that's poured conservatively or carefully, it starts overflowing the glass. He drops the tissue in the degassed beer, and it just like barely makes a sound. He said that's what happens in your stomach.
Yeah. So you want it so that you've got a cap on the top, but the first bit is degassed, so that the bulk of it you're not. It doesn't need to be that fizzy. It's like, have you ever watched the two girls trying to down a bottle of Sprite in the car, and then she belches? I'll cut it here. I'll cut it here, and I'll see if I can squeeze it in. But
Those are great.
Sounds like she's manifesting a demon from the bottom of the pit. But that's basically because, it's not really. You don't really want all that fizz in your stomach. It's not good for you.
No, definitely not.
And we drink it wrong. We've been taught. Our beer culture is very strange when it comes to stuff like that, and I think it's really because we imported beer. So for us, cask beer, we did really, really well. We've always done cask beer, and then lager kind of appeared. And I feel like, and I might be wrong in saying this, but I felt like lager was brought in from Europe. And
for sure.
We were so tight. We're like, like cask beer, you don't want to waste nothing. It's like gold. You don't waste good cask beer.
It's also not very carbonated, so it didn't matter.
Exactly.
Yeah, true.
So then we were doing the same principle with lager, and we weren't really pouring it correctly. And tight landlords were like, I don't want to spill this foam and I want to sell every drip of it because it's expensive. Yeah. And so hence why it was served like that. In the north, it's like we have the sparkler. We love the sparkler. I think the sparkler beer is so much better.
Yeah.
But in the south, it's like
you don't see much of it on sparkler, to be honest.
No,
you don't, do you?
I think my wife is calling me. 1 second. Keep talking.
No. What's my knickers again?
Everyone's drinking beer, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
What are you drinking?
I've just polished off a Goose Island Bourbon County.
As you do.
As you do.
Quietly.
What a Wednesday night activity, Paul.
Yeah, I just thought, sod it. I've got another bottle of it, and I thought it's the first time we've been together for a while, so I thought I'd knock out a big beer.
It's on my immediate to review list. The one you gave me. I had it penciled in for before Christmas, but it just didn't quite happen. I wasn't ready. I wasn't in the mood, and I'm waiting for the perfect day for that beer because I know it's going to be fantastic.
Yeah, I am. I got there when I had COVID, and there was no way I was ready for that. That was that was pretty special. Pretty special.
Ooh.
I've got to say, these beers are the first ones since we did the live stream pre-Christmas for me.
Yeah,
Wow.
same as that.
Wow.
Wow.
Wow, 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 wow,
Wow,
wow, wow.
My glass is empty, so I'm going to get another beer.
So, whilst Paul gets another beer, so we did Brew London. I think it was pretty epic. We had a good time, good laugh. What was the next adventure?
I reckon somewhere not long after that, I took my yearly pilgrimage to Masham, as I've now been pronounced, in North Yorkshire, to visit Theakston and Black Sheep. That's always I look forward to that every year. It's become a thing accidentally. It's not like I don't actively decide to do it, but once a year I end up there and have done for the past 3 years. I think it's going to continue. Just solid. It's just the best of trad British beer. I think that experience, like you were saying about how the Budvar becomes creamy, so does this. So does that stuff when it's up there. It's insanely good. I will, however, fess up now. And I don't think I've told this story yet. I got a little bit. I don't know what caused it, but on the first night I got quite excited, had quite a few pints, and the next day took a very ginger walk into town to find some Imodium.
You say you took a very ginger walk.
Well, walking very gingerly.
I love that. I took a ginger walk.
A little ginger walk.
Walking like Woody from Toy Story.
But shout out. It was all right, but I also remember I've got the dogs with me, right? So I'm getting pulled around by those idiots. I was trying not to, but I need to do a shout out to people
off the pavement in a bag. Bloody dogs.
I do. I do need to shout out the people that make Imodium, because about 3 later I was back on the beer. So and everything was fine in the world. So
I got to try that, man. I got to try that. Get absolutely stinking drunk, and then you've got to do it all again the next day. Imodium. I'm taking Imodium next time.
It's true. It does work. I got to admit, whenever I go on these adventures, there's always a pack of Imodium.
We should probably point out that what we're saying right now does not constitute medical advice.
No, it does not. No, don't do anything that we do.
Don't listen to us. No. Don't listen to Tom and his ginger walking.
My ginger walking. Yeah. But I made a video there. I think it was one of my best videos of the year. It was certainly one of the most enjoyable to make. It's good.
Was that the one when you were like updating every beer you had on Instagram? Was it that festival?
No, that wasn't a festival. That was just me in a pub. So that I just I did 2 fresh pints. It was basically just doing the original Theakstons versus Black Sheep fresh pints from down the road from the breweries. That was that one. No, the ones on Instagram, that would either have been Derby Beer Con or Nottingham Beer Festival. I think.
It was either one of them two. Yeah, you did a beer festival. And I think every time we did a beer, you updated on Instagram. And you had about 27 entries into your story that day, so that was a good set. That was a good set.
That would have been Nottingham Beer Festival. It must have been for that.
There you go.
I remember seeing that and thinking, he must be absolutely leathered, and you managed to keep composed every time. I don't know how you do it.
Yeah, but if I remember rightly, wasn't one of the first beers an Imperial Stout?
Yeah,
one of the first beers was a big hitter.
Wasn't it?
That was Derby Beer Con. No, I think you're confusing festivals. So it would have been at Derby because it was only a day session of about 4 hours.
Ah, okay.
At max, and so that one was just a case of find the very best and get what you can in the time allocated. Nottingham was there from a lot. Well, I was there all day and night, so no, that wasn't the case then. But yeah,
I just can't do it. I just get a bit excited and start. I just can't do it. I just like my mind. I just can't let myself pace myself. I just can't do it. I just get excited. I start going, "Oh, Red Willow!"
We noticed, mate. We noticed.
I just can't do it.
The thing is, the funny bit is, we love you getting drunk because you're so funny. So it's not like
when you're
you're great. God, you're one of the funniest
jackass.
Have all 4 of us actually had a proper piss up together yet? I don't think we have we?
No, not all together.
No, not all together.
No.
That's shocking.
St.
So-
Paddy's. We've done St. Paddy's night with 3 of us.
St. Paddy's in Liverpool. Yeah.
We started
And
in
then
Liverpool. I
Huddersfield.
finished Beer X, and then I was done.
Beer eggs. I was half pissed when I left Beer X. Then we went to Head of Steam, didn't we? And I think I sobered up in Head of Steam somehow.
Was
No,
it
we
Head
went
of Steam? No, we went.
No, we
to-
went. We left the centre and went straight to the train, and we had a couple of Guinnesses in the train station,
at Wetherspoons.
Oh my god, yeah, I forgot about that. So that was the second day, wasn't it?
and then we
Yeah,
got on the train with that mother and son. Oh my god, that was.
And we took a load of takeaway beers, didn't we?
Yeah, we had all the beers in our rucksack from the actual thing, didn't we?
Right.
Crumby,
Yeah.
it was amazing. It was amazing. The train beers. Even people came and sat with us because we were having so much
That
fun.
was such a giggle. Yeah.
Oh, that train! And do you remember? I just cracked that can of red. What was it? No, was it an Arbor can? It was a massive
Yeah.
500 ml can. The
Yeah.
train accelerated. The can slipped on the table, hit the little ridge on the table, went all in my lap.
Oh dear. I did. We said we got to get some train beers. So I went scoping around all the bars to see who had the biggest cans in their fridges. And I think I came out with like a load of Marble cans and Arbor cans. And this
Rivington.
And that was after we went to, like I say, to the pub and had a couple of pints of Guinness, didn't we? So it was
good.
fun.
And then we went back to the Grove, didn't we?
Yeah, boy.
Yeah, we went to the Grove, and it was. They had a full Irish band on.
It was Paddy's night.
Yeah, yeah. The Irish band were in.
It's flipping awesome.
And then we
They
got a
played
lock
well.
in. I feel like we got a lock in
Yeah, we
there.
did. We got a
Yeah,
lock in.
mate.
Yeah.
They played the band in car, but nobody knows the words, even the singer.
He managed it. He managed it.
Yeah. And then it gets to the bit with the chorus where everyone sings along with the band and car bit. It's the only bit I know. You know, he goes, "This is dedicated to the Ballocks at the back." And it was basically John, myself, and Mark, the 3 piss blokes at the back of the room. It's dedicated to the lads at the back. We've done the fucking band and car beer.
And they had it on tap, didn't
Oh,
they? They had the band and car on tap.
Yeah. Oh,
It was
funny.
cool.
Funny,
What
funny.
ABV is Veltins? Because I remember we drank so much beer that day that we were all, by the end, we were all drinking Veltins because it was a safe bet. But I still think that's about 5.5%.
Good beer.
It was that. I was smashing the Jeevers. I loved it.
Need something
Jeevers.
low ABV. I don't know, the Veltins.
Oh, yeah, Jesus.
I love Jeeva. It's so bitter. I love that bitterness. Anyway, we've gone backwards. We're going back the wrong way. So Crummy got absolutely toasted.
And nearly ruined some underwear. Yeah, that was good.
Oh dear. And then what was the next thing after that? What was the next adventure? I think it was. I want to say it was GBBF. But when was Nottingham Beer Festival?
Oh, not till the end of the year. Don't worry. I'll
Okay.
chime in with that one. What year? Hold on. What month are we in?
This has got to be June at least now.
Okay, so Nottingham Craft Beer Festival was June as well, but I think the London one was first.
When was I thought GBBF was quite late in the summer.
It was. GBBF was like, I feel like GBBF was like September or something.
What was it?
Yeah. Did we have a few months of not doing anything?
Because
I feel like we did, you know.
Well, it was
because
40
that's when-
degrees, so everyone was
John
not.
should know. John should know because you had your beer on.
I'm just Googling it.
You were
Oh,
down
Oh, that was August, 2nd to the 6th of August.
I
bloody
thought
heck.
early August because we did 2. Well, you did like what 3 out of the 4 days
Yeah.
because we went
Yeah.
karting one of the days because you couldn't be bothered to drink 4 days in a
Oh,
row,
no.
and then
Awesome.
we went. I went 2 days in a row.
And
Yeah.
there was a bit of an appetite to do the Saturday, I remember. And it was like, should we do it? And everyone was like, yeah. Nah.
Oh man, do you know the mad bit was? So I watched the video that I recorded of GBBF 2022 right at the end where I'm on the train coming from Leeds into Huddersfield, and you can see how I was ruined. It took me a week to get back to normal. I was so knackered. But what a great festival. In fact, I'd go as far to say that we gleaned more from GBBF than we did from Brew London. And it makes me think, for the amount of money, I love Brew London, I really do, but I might not do it this year because we've got to pull our sort of look at what actually did we get from those things, what was the best. I mean, just running the bar and setting the bar up and all that with Brew London is an effort with such a small team. When you do it with, when you do it with GBBF, there's no, I don't have to set anything up. They do all of it. They staff it. They do all of it. It's great.
I think the atmosphere as well, from a commercial perspective, just not that I'm a brewery owner, but I'm a small business owner, and I think when you look at the environment, the Brew London's got this big like boom, boom, boom music. It's very dimly lit. It's not really catered towards sort of mingling, having those chats with guys that you want to hook up with, starting those conversations. Whereas GBBF is the total opposite. There's no real music in that particular hall that you were in. It's very well lit. It's a very inviting social place, and there was a lot more heads there at GBBF than there were at Brew London. Guys that actually, just for me looking around my limited knowledge of guys in the brewing industry, it just felt a lot more sort of like guys that wanted to be there for a reason, rather than Brew London was a bit more of a party, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. I actually prefer GBBF. I still prefer
GBBF.
Yeah, I still prefer the Great British Beer Festival, and it's the reason it's the venue, which is great. It's huge, and it's all the natural light that you get in there, so you can
amazing, isn't it?
You can see what you're drinking, and you can chat to people because you haven't got crazy loud music and stupid lighting and all that. It's a better festival for networking. I think it's a better festival for actually enjoying what you're drinking. Brew London is, I think, catered to a different crowd. But if you like that crowd, then it's a winner, and there's some awesome breweries that go there every year. So there is that.
I think for me, I loved the fact, and GBBF didn't come close, but the diversity in Brew London with the people that went.
Yeah,
much younger crowd, much more women. There were much more people of colour. It was a much more diverse, and I feel like a much more welcoming space.
Oh yeah.
Than GBBF. Although I think at GBBF, I think I saw one or two things that weird like encounters, but I think unfortunately it doesn't matter what festival you go to or whether it's even beer. It could be anything. You're always going to get that.
Yeah.
I think and you've got to be thick-skinned. I'm not making excuses for the people that do that behaviour, but if you catch somebody behaving like that, then you should call them out there and then on the spot and don't let them get away with it.
Well, it's a law of averages, isn't it? You stick that amount of people in there with that amount of beer, you're going to get something. With the amount of weirdos that there are in the world, you're going to get one or two stupid people do stupid things, unfortunately, because that's the world we live in. But
I will say I enjoyed GBBF as much, if not more, than Brew London this time round. But I do love the people at Brew London. Chris, who runs it, what a great guy. They're a good team.
Yeah.
They're always really friendly, really welcoming.
Yeah.
They lost our pallet. Somebody took our pallet on the last knock-ins, and we had a mission getting it back. And most of our beer that we've been given as samples got nicked, but that's life. But that's not their fault. That's just couriers, isn't it? But yeah, it was.
You're right. It's a completely different festival. There's kind of two types of beer festival. Brew London is one, and GBBF is a completely different. It's but yeah, there's something about both that I like. We're on the. Where's that from? Is that Lithuanian or something like that?
Yeah, it is Lithuanian.
I don't know yet. I'll tell you.
I was drinking this brewery beer when I was over there a month and a half ago, and it was all right. I enjoyed it.
I've just had that
extra. I can get that in a corner shop, but I'm always a bit scared of it, so I've never bought it.
Not bad. A little bit sweet.
Yeah.
That one.
But that extra would have been super malty.
Jesus
like
Christ,
proper
that looks like
malty lager.
Oh, it's very malty. Yeah, I like that though. It's very
That's
similar to a New York lager. When I've been to New York, the lagers there taste like that. That really good.
That's some shocking branding. That's the sort of thing you put in your car, isn't it? That.
Yeah, that's why I like it. That's why I bought it.
40 W20. Straight in top of the engine.
That's exactly it. It is. It's WD-40, isn't it? It's the same colour scheme. Cheeky bastard.
I want a Grimbergen triple hop.
Ooh,
Grimberg.
Nice.
what you on, Tom?
I have crushed the can because it went a bit foamy. But hold on, let me reform it.
See, I know for a fact, if you go back on the video, that Tom got every last drop out of this can.
Squeeze the can.
I try. It's called Silent Spring Pale Ale. It's from Black Isle. I'm having a pale day. I've not drank any pale ale for about a month. I thought I was going to have a little change. It's
good.
organic, 5.4%, and it's a collab with Ecosia, the eco-friendly search engine. Yeah.
No, I've seen Ecosia. They've got really annoying adverts.
They do indeed. The beer tastes all right. So,
what have you got, Paul?
I've got a Flensburger Winterbock.
Ooh.
The noisiest sounding bottle opening you've ever heard in your life. It's got one of them.
That did go off, didn't it?
Yeah, one of them poppy tops. It probably went bang. I was like, Jesus.
Yeah. Oh, man. Good beers. I've had some really nice beers this year. I think I'll be honest with you. I'm next year, or this year, should I say, it's all going to be about pale ales and lagers, I guarantee it, because anything that's roasted or requires lots of malt is just going to be so unbelievably expensive.
Tom's face. For the love of Christ.
I'm gonna hibernate until the energy crisis stops, because I can't imagine anything worse than a low malt beer year. That sounds horrific.
Yeah, it's pretty horrific. What were you saying, Paul? The increases of malt for creative down there?
Yeah, we got our malt delivery, and it's 100% price increase. Yeah, 100%.
What?
And our cleaning bits and bobs, all the chemicals and everything that we use for apparatus and tools and just general washing up glasses and stuff like that. 300% price increase on those. So yeah, that's fun. So we've got all that to contend with.
Luckily, I'm a tightwad, so they only presented a 30% price increase to us.
Well, you recommended Booker's, haven't you? So I'm going to go to Booker's.
Oh yeah, for your cleaning stuff. Yeah, for like sprays and stuff. Yeah, Booker's. Also, the other thing we could do is we've got a chemical supplier in Manchester who makes a lot of it, and we get a very good price. We go and pick it up, so we might be able to do something where we can pick it up in bulk, and then when you're up, you can grab it and take it down.
Well, it's simple things. I mean, I clean the lines once a week. Wednesday's line clean day, so I did that today. But that stuff you use, it chucks into the water. It's not cheap, you know. So it's that's all gone up. So that's a complete pain in the backside.
Is it the one with the purple dye in it?
It is the one with the purple dye. Yeah.
Well, you don't need to use that. There is a way of doing it without. That's cheaper.
What's that?
I'll tell you off stream, but there is a good way of doing it, and it doesn't cost you as much money. No. It's exactly the same chemical. It just doesn't have the dye in it.
Just fart in the water bottle.
If you it's a long story, but there is a way of doing it. It's very safe, and you don't have to spend quite so much money. So when did Paul? You know, when I came down to Creative Juices.
Oh, that was early in the year as well.
That was early in the year. I forgot about that as well.
Yeah. Was that before or was it after the International Women's Day brew? I think it was before. It was. So that would have been like February.
Yeah.
That would have been February time. We went down and had a chat with Ben, didn't we? We recorded a video, and I was drinking I was drinking the milk stout, which we brewed there, and we put it against. Did we put it against Bandon Car?
We did, and I had a nightmare, didn't I? Because the beer, I forgot the beers, and then the ones that you had been in your boot for the best part of 8 months. And then when I opened it, it just went.
Yeah.
I was like,
can of porter. Yeah.
I was like, Ben, it's not normally like this.
It was so funny. You two were both stressing over it. I was just sitting there drinking a pint of stout. I was like, oh, keep cracking on.
It was funny. It's a funny video. If you go back to a YouTube channel, if you're not on Spotify, go and check out Lord's Brewing Company. Go right back to the beginning of the last year. That was quite a funny one.
Oh, good. Oh, excuse me.
Right,
So we did.
Glass.
Yeah, you go for it. So we did GBBF. It's such a.
It'll never do. It will never do.
It will never do. So we did GBBF. That was epic.
I had good fun at GBBF.
Yeah, I lost my bag. Poor old Rasco in
Yeah.
Kent Beer Reviews saw me lose my plot. I left, and I have only myself to blame. I left my bag with my DJI Osmo Pocket, all my microphones, everything on the train.
Yeah. Not good.
Oh dear.
So I'm insuring it this time. I have since replaced the Osmo Pocket, and then I've upgraded. I've got this one as well, Sony ZV-1, and I've got to put it to work because it cost me a fortune. So this year it's got to do some videos. So we did. Yeah, that was the only downside about GBBF. But overall, I mean, the funniest video. That was the first time I met Chris's beer reviews as well. And there was this one more moment where me and Chris are talking, and he's swaying like this. It's like, and I went, Chris, and he was like, yeah. I was like,
yes.
Are we on a boat? And he was like, am I swaying? I was like, yeah, you are. You're actually making me feel seasick when I'm talking to you.
Chris, we were laughing at Chris on the train, weren't we? On the way home, first day, because Chris was sat there, like looking really, really comfortable, but it's like his head was moving in slow motion. So his arms were moving like normally and all that, but his head would go like this. He was doing that, and at one point, Chris, I don't know why, he sort of looked over in one direction. I think he was looking at the doors as they were opening and shutting at the tube, and he was just staring at them for what felt like ages. So there was like perfect time. There was time for me and John to have a full-on like private conversation about it, like a silent conversation. Like I was just like, look at the state of him. Look at him. We were laughing. We were both laughing our nuts off. I even recorded him. I got the phone out. I was recording Chris, just zoned out like.
Crummy, just so you know, he has got form for filming people when they've had a few beers.
Yes,
Man,
just
that man.
when we're together and we all have a beer, just watch him. Because he likes to record it and have a jolly good laugh.
Evidence.
But you can get him back because occasionally he does dumb stuff like falling off a chair and he's.
I was going to say that's interesting because I have been fairly inebriated around him a few times. Then I just remembered that every time that's happened, he's been worse. So he's probably not remembered to record it.
I have no shame. I'll walk straight into it. I don't care. I do not care. But if people are going to have a go at me, I will record you. So I've had Mark in Liverpool off his nut, in London off his nut. I've had John off his nut. Been great.
It's not fair.
Mark hiccuping in Liverpool. Still one of the funniest things. One of the funniest things all year for me.
I'll be honest. If you manage to get that video of me, I'll be very impressed because I've got a very good poker face for being absolutely obliterated.
You just go really quiet when you're drunk. I've noticed on the
thing. I've got nothing more to say. Just got to focus on surviving at that point.
That's what it is. We'll all be chatting away and having a giggle on that. Tom's sitting there just like, no.
It would make for a very good video, though, does it?
Yeah, he's like, I'm not going to speak. And fuck it up. I'm not going to do it. I'm not doing it. No, I'm at that stage. He knows. He just goes mute. It's clever. It's clever.
That was funny. Yeah. Oh my gosh. So we had GBBF. Then Then we had another go-karting thing, didn't we?
We'll be karting again.
We did.
Yeah, when was the second kart? That was September, wasn't it?
It was September.
And the weather was okay that day.
It was beautiful. Windy. It's always windy at that track.
Was it the same place?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that was the one you were supposed to race, weren't you? But then you
but then I had to pick up my van because from the
That's
insurance company, didn't I?
Yeah.
I had holiday like the next day, I think, or the day after. I can't
So
remember. I was in the New Forest thing.
If Mark had raced, the weather would have been awful.
Yeah, it would have snowed.
He didn't, so it was fantastic. It was good.
It was beautiful. Great day of racing.
I normally race indoor tracks.
He's pucker on Gran Turismo. Mark loves it.
He loves it. We need Mark and Crummy to get an Xbox and a steering wheel and pedals.
Oh, because I saw on Abby's Instagram, she's got a full like seat racing.
It's actually a really comfortable set. I've been playing it as well. It's nice. It's actually quite nice.
Nice.
Paul, is that one of them presents that really you bought for yourself, but you passed it off as buying it for
A little bit.
Maybe.
Right, so I've got the wheel and the pedals. I've got the Thrustmaster T240. Best name for a thing ever.
Is that a steering wheel? Is it?
Thrustmaster T240. Thrust it up your ass. Yeah, we got that. And then
It vibrates a lot. That's all I'm saying.
yeah. So once I got the wheel on that, she decided she wanted the full. She was going to wait, but they were doing a Boxing Day deal on. I can't remember the name of the company that make the seat and frame now, but it's a proper
play
race.
seat?
Who?
Play seat?
Hang on, I'll ask her. I'll send her a message.
I've got a play seat here, which my son likes to put a beanbag inside of so he can sit in it.
That's cool. Like
It all folds up as well. Just about fits
They are good.
my-
I'd love
Yeah,
one. It's just
good.
time. If I was to buy one, I'd never play anything.
Yeah, and I mean the only thing I really, really want is I want the 3D printed attachment so I can have a joystick and the throttle for Flight Simulator.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
So what month do we? So yeah, that go karting event was that was a lot calmer than the first one.
Yeah, it was. We literally frightened a Formula One / IndyCar driver, which was quite amazing.
Oh, of course, it was the day of the shades.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Max Chilton was. We were told on a Tim Sylvie joined us from. What are they called now? My mind's gone blank. Motormouth.
Oh yeah, that live, wasn't it?
Which battle was that?
Yeah, so we were told that we were getting Max Chilton on our team, and we were stoked, like properly stoked. But then we kind of thought it was fun. Well, I thought it was funny to buy us all pit vipers.
As Paul is now modelling so eloquently.
Thank you.
They do look good.
For the benefit of those.
They don't look good.
They look great.
They look fantastic. Maybe not.
I wear my pit vipers all the time. So I bought us all a pair of pit vipers, and Max Chilton was stood on the balcony, and he looked over, and he saw me, and behind me Crummy and Paul, and Abby, all with pit vipers on, and you literally saw the colour wash out of his face. And I think he must have gone to Tim and gone, "Don't put me with him. Don't put me with him." So we didn't get him, but we got Paul Cowland instead, who was actually what an absolute dude.
Legend, nice guy. Really
Yeah.
nice guy. Nice to chat with, Paul Cowden.
I think other than Abby slagging his car off accidentally, I think we did really well with it.
What did she say about his motor?
So there was a. Can you remember? Well, for the benefit of everyone who's not been, which is almost everyone listening to this, before the actual practice session and the race, there's after the briefing they do like demo laps in performance cars, and that will vary. There was a McLaren out once. That was last time. Ford GT went out. Ford GT40 went out both times. I can't remember what else was out on the first time, but
McLaren.
No, the McLaren was only on the second time. But anyway, we're talking about the second time. So it was a Ford GT40, the McLaren, and a very heavily modified Toyota GT86.
Was it not the Subaru BRZ version?
Yes, it was. Sorry, but it's the same car.
Yeah.
Same. Yeah, you're right. It was a Subaru, very heavily modified, and we're still around these three cars, and then we get told that there's an opportunity for passenger laps, and everyone's talking about what they'd like to go in, while Paul stood next to us. And Abby basically said something to the effect of, "I don't want to go in that piece of junk. I want to go in the McLaren." And anyway, it turned out that particular Subaru was Paul's. He went white when he then got the keys out and got into it. It was hilarious.
The second-hand embarrassment on that one is real.
So good. It was so
And she went for a rack in it, didn't she? Then she went for a lap in it. Awkward. No shame, that woman. No shame.
Slagged it off and got in. Slagged it off and got in that lap.
And then Kobe got told by what's it called? The lad. Oh, I've got his name now.
The YouTuber.
Yeah, what a dude! He's such a nice bloke. He does.
I couldn't believe that.
22.
I thought he was winding me up.
He does what?
Daly. Ben Daly. He basically sim races Formula One.
Oh, he's got a McLaren, hasn't he?
Yeah, 22.
I couldn't believe that. I could not believe that when he got into that. I was like, "You little bastard! That's your car. You got a McLaren. Playing video games. Jesus Christ!"
But Ben's really funny and like genuinely nice bloke.
Yeah,
I think that's why.
Has he got a real job as well, or did he just do that?
No, just does that.
That's it.
Amazing.
Yeah, but because Ben's like makes you feel like he's just like an average guy.
Yeah, that was the thing. I was talking to him, and you said, "Oh, here he is," because you were talking about me. He's got a YouTube channel, and he was like, "Oh, what's your YouTube channel?" I was like, "Oh, it's Paul's Beer Reviews." And he's like, "Oh, nice, but and Luke, he's like, "Oh, you got like 5,000-6,000 subs. That's awesome." And I was like, "Have you got a channel?" He's like, "Yeah." Looked it up, thinking he would have like a few hundred or something.
Nah.
He's got like over 100. Well, how many subs has he got? Like nearly 1 million subs or something like that.
He's probably got to be towards 1 million now.
I'm talking to this geezer, thinking, "Oh, he's just someone who's just started getting on YouTube or something."
Little Australian fella.
Yeah, he's lovely.
Hundreds of thousands of subs. I was like, you set me up.
Nice bloke. And same with Jimmy. Jimmy Broadbent. What a lovely guy. Down to earth, real bloke.
Can't stand him.
You liar. No, he's a nice guy. Is that way?
Mark, he shunted you. Never forget, son. Never forget.
Oh yeah. Sorry, Jimmy.
I will remind him of it when I see him next time.
Yeah, that was good fun. What was nice is and another guy that honestly, what a lovely chap, Aldas. He does like Formula One commentaries. He does like talking about races and does a bit of go-karting himself. What a lovely dude. Very humble guy. Got a GT86. If you're on YouTube or on Spotify, go and look at Aldas. What a lovely guy. Legend. And his content's really good as well. And you can tell he does a lot of research.
Would you like some more second-hand embarrassment from that day?
Oh no, yeah, please.
Serve it to me.
So it was me putting my foot in it this time, very innocently. Who was out of the car after me?
Was it me?
Yes, it was you. So you were coming in, and I came down to the pits to help you out of the car and get the next person in, just as in case anything, the car needed a holding or anything. And as we were waiting for you to come in, I'm looking at timings on my phone to see where you are on the track to determine what point you're actually coming into the pits. And a voice from behind me goes, "Oh, can I see that? I want to see where we are." And I show it them, and there's like a weird, awkward pause where like they can't quite work out what they're looking at. So I start explaining how the timing screen works. This person's got a helmet on, by the way. Like they're fully decked out. You can see where this is going. So I start explaining the intricacies of a go-karting timing screen to Formula One racer Max Chilton.
I did apologise. Oh man, he was what a nice guy as well.
He was very nice. He was very nice.
I think I see. I had second embarrassment from what I asked him. It was like I looked inside his soul.
Oh, that was good. Yeah, I remember.
Oh my gosh,
is that the guy who done IndyCar as well?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And I just said to him, I can't remember what I was like.
Very humble, wasn't he? Very humble.
I was like, what did I say? What's it feel like being one of the few people to ever do IndyCar and Formula One?
And live to tell the tale.
Yeah, and he said something like that. And then I said, was it really scary doing IndyCar? Or was the speed? That was it. Was it really scary driving at that speed open wheeled? And he said, it's utterly terrifying.
Yeah.
And literally, you look like you'd spoken to a man that had seen his own death. And then I said to him, I said, so how did you deal with that fear?
So are you his therapist now?
Well, I wanted to know because I find that fascinating. I'm not a person that's particularly scared of stuff or people. So, like, Paul's witnessed me have a few beers and want to have a tear up. And he just turned around and he said, I didn't deal with it. And he was so honest. Like, I'm no one. I'm just a YouTuber, beer drinking, washed up racing driver who knows how to fix a car now and again. And he was so honest, and that's rare. You just don't see that. And you know what? When you watch him drive that electric car up through Goodwood, you realise there's a man that, like, speed is. He knows what really, really fast is because he is on the ragged edge.
They're a different breed.
Oh,
they're just a different. We don't think the way they think. That's like that's another level of thinking. That is, you know.
Yeah, it is absolutely is. So just doing that sim racing last few days, I realised I am not a driver. I am not a racing driver, and they do that at double the speed that I was driving at, and weren't crashing into a fence that wasn't going to kill them. You know, so freaks of nature.
They are freaks, absolute freaks. I mean, like, what was it? There was a crash in the 70s, wasn't there? John will probably, Tom will know. Tom, what was the crash? There was a crash in the 70s where the guy got trapped in his car because he couldn't remove the steering wheel. And then Jackie Stewart, instead of quitting racing, it wasn't Jochen Rindt, was it? Or was it?
I feel like this was a Nürburgring crash.
But Jackie Stewart wanted to quit racing, but he stayed racing and he sellotaped a spanner to his steering wheel. So if he ever crashed, he could undo his own steering wheel and get out of his car. It's just a
bananas.
It's so dangerous.
Bananas. It could have been Rindt. I know the story. I can't remember who it was.
Just a bonkers way of thinking. It's like, it's not a case of I'm going to stop doing this. It's a case of I'm going to do it, but I'm going to make it.
I've got a first edition lithograph of Jack Brabham at Monte Carlo in the BRM in my front lounge. You guys have seen it.
Mm-hmm.
And when you look, the fuel cell is exactly at the side of the cockpit.
John, your house is haunted, mate.
It's not a ghost. It's my wife.
Who?
My wife. And So our neighbour does these amazing balloon sculptures. I'm just plugging my neighbour's company now. Just bring that back here so that because it's Kobe's 10th birthday tomorrow. So look at this. Look at that.
That is good.
That's a lot of balloons in one balloon.
I know.
That's awesome. Is that Xbox? You say Xbox on it?
It does. It's Xbox mad.
It's blue. It should be green.
I know it should be green, but don't tell Lydia.
That's mother. That's the Lord of Life telling you it's a subliminal message that you should have got a PlayStation.
I do really want to play Gran Turismo though.
Did you just do a bum chunder then in that moment?
No, I just zip that up.
I saw you do that. I've never heard little.
No, Lydia just handed me stuff and said, "Put that away."
We've gone. That was quite a detour we've taken there.
We have taken a bit of a detour.
Was that September?
So that was.
It was September. Yes, you're right. That was September because 2 days later I went to Scotland, immediately caught COVID, and accidentally spread it around most of the Highlands. That was fun.
I might have done something similar at Brew London. Not knowing that.
So yeah, that was good. What happened after that? Oh, I'll tell you what. Derby Beer Con. That was like 3. That must have been September. That must have been like the first week of October. That was like my first beer post COVID. I could just about taste some things. I'm going to cover it briefly. I was quite a surprise at how good a festival that was. Little Bustler's street food market venue in Derby, and it was basically like back of an old warehouse, but it had all been kind of made funky, I guess. You chuckling at Mark?
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's making me want to cough now.
Oh, let me just turn my mic off. Yeah, it's great.
I don't know what's happened, but Mark's getting ever paler. I know I'm getting redder as the night goes on, but Mark's going the other way.
Me and Mark tomorrow are going to be a mess. I'm just
something else
enjoying
I've
this brief moment of feeling all right.
That's what I've noticed about Tom. As he gets drunk, he gets more pink.
I do. It's true. It's
Yeah.
got emanating heat. That's what happens. I don't have to put my heating on, provided that I drink alcohol. That's the.
Yeah.
So I'm not. I do have my heating on. I'm not doing this every day just for health and safety.
You cold, love?
I could.
Crack a bottle of red.
Honestly, it doesn't even need to just be a lot. I'm roasting right now.
It keeps the brewery warm when he comes up.
It's true. It's true. Just a bit massive radiator. But I'll tell you what would radiate me: the beer that I found there that I've been wanting to try for ages, which was the Star beer from John's good friends at Beer Inc.
Ryan, what a legend!
Yeah. And I said, "Do you know this man?" And they said, "Yes," nervously.
Who's asking?
Yeah. So yeah, that was good. But that was my set. Did anyone else do anything September, early October?
That would have been Lee. It would have been the York Beer Festival.
Yeah, we did York Beer Festival, didn't we?
We did.
Hold on. When was Mark's Beer Festival?
Oh, that was well in the year. I'll tell you what, actually, the best thing to come out of that festival, do you remember Ali G? And right at the end,
Is it?
It goes that Martin Freeman is having anal intercourse with.
Oh my gosh.
That's not bad, is it? I can say that. Is that bad?
That's
It's not bad. It's not bad compared to what I've got planned for later.
But bleep it. You can bleep that bit out, John. Sorry, that's 1 minute 39.
I've no idea what you said. Something about Ali G and Martin Freeman and anal intercourse. That's all
at
I
the
got
end
from
where two of Ali G's friends are having a nice time together, and he goes, "So, what's it like?" And the geezer with the squeaky voice goes, "Quite nice, actually."
that.
The geezer that goes, "Quite nice, actually." He turned up at our beer festival.
No, really?
Yeah, I have photo evidence.
So just out of interest,
what's
is this the same guy that turned up that was also in Game of Thrones, or is this a different guy?
Yes, but Yes, but I've never seen Game of Thrones, so I have to reference the.
Yeah, I'll be honest. An obscure Ali G reference was probably not as strong as the Game of Thrones reference.
Well, wasn't he also Ricky Gervais?
There he is.
Yeah, he was Ricky Gervais's mate in Afterlife.
That's him.
Yes.
Tony.
Not a clue.
Tony Momboni.
Tony Bumberber.
What was his name in
My
Game
mate
of
went up to him and
Thrones? It was the drunk night. It was
That's right. Joffrey tortured him, didn't he?
yeah.
Drink some more wine. And they literally like held his mouth open and chucked the barrel down his throat. Yeah. Great show.
Sounds like a good way of going.
All right, mate. Are you the fella that got by Martin Freeman? And he went, yes, I am. Thank you very much for that.
Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah,
god.
imagine getting bummed by a hobbit.
I'm sorry if you're listening to this and kind of gone. We've had a few beers at this point.
Past the bullshit.
Yeah. So what else? What
I
else?
moved on to that.
Oh,
Oh yeah.
Oh, I swore again. Sorry, John. That's 1 minute 40:57.
Paul, for the benefit of people not watching on YouTube, what is it you're drinking?
I'm drinking Sierra Nevada's Celebration Fresh Hop IPA 2022 edition. I was about to say this Christmas, but obviously Christmas is gone. I'm just still the pillock with his Christmas tree still on behind me.
Oh, I just burped and I got a very nice meatball carbonara thing.
Oh, lovely.
What you got in that beer?
It's like I had dinner twice.
Right. Can we just for a minute talk naff Christmas beer? Because I got bought a lot of beer for Christmas.
Oh, yeah, but I got two presents. One was socks, and the other one was a grip for my camera.
I got 3 of these, and it might be a complete set. Although I can't see totally Slade here, but I got cold turkey.
Oh,
Hold on. Didn't you get these last year all from a garden centre?
I might have done, but I can't remember.
The beer in it.
It's proper garden centre beer.
Yeah.
Who is the brewery in the Staffordshire Moorlands? I don't know. Whoever that is. I got stocking filler, Santa in a set of stockings.
Yep.
I like that.
Garden Centre beer.
And I got Grumpy Santa.
I was about to say there's got to be a Grumpy Santa somewhere there.
And then there was another selection of beers that I'm totally unaware of. I got a bottle of Santa's Butt,
Oh my gosh.
which is a winter porter at 6%.
Wow.
And then I got Seriously Bad Elf, which is a triple.
Oh.
Right. I've heard that one's actually not meant to be that bad.
Good.
What Trembling Madness selling that as well?
Were they?
Yeah, I believe they were.
Well, that's interesting. It must be reasonably good if Trembling Madness is selling it. I met the owner. In fact, me and Mark met the owner of Trembling Madness at York Beer Festival.
We did.
And he's a really interesting guy, actually.
Was he mad?
What's interesting about him is he's already made his money and he does Trembling Madness for no other reason that it's quite good fun.
You do look at the prices that they charge for their beers, and it's like really competitive, like across the board. So they've got some money behind them to do that.
Oh yeah, he's just like, I just do it for fun. It's just fun.
I had an order arrive from them today.
I love him. Nice bloke.
I got I got 8 beers from them. A Rivington, an Arbor, a Track, a Sure Shot, a Verdant, a Flock.
Literally reading out the peak of craft beer breweries right there.
I'm such a bitch. A Daya.
What track did you get? What track did you get? I bought a track yesterday. I was in the beer. Don't get it up yet. I bought a track yesterday. I'm really excited about it. Put them up at the same time.
Right. I'll tell you what. This goes back to what you said about Arbor in your video recently. I bought a track Helles.
Oh, for their lager. Why not? Why not?
Because I've never had a track lager,
No, neither have I, to be fair.
and I was like, "What's the worst that can happen?" What did you get?
I got a completely different beer from you, but there you go. But it's a new one, but it's a chocolate and gingerbread imperial stout that they collaborated with Pinter, who are Polish, I believe. I believe that, yeah, Poland barrel-aged behemoths, Pinter. It's a chocolate gingerbread imperial stout at 10.5% ABV.
Nice.
Looking forward to that.
Very good. Very
I'm
nice.
excited for this Sure Shot beer. I think they're
One-
really good.
Yeah,
It's,
sure, sure. I could massively
Ground
overpriced.
Control to Monty Don, New England IPA, 6.5%.
Sure shot, right? Clever. Because they did that beer with Vocation, didn't they? That went in Tesco. And that was before
What was that?
that was like the 30-mile round trip or something like that. It was
That's
called.
it.
And that was before they'd even released a beer.
Was Sure Shot some link to Cloudwater?
Something like that.
Because it was a very similar split from like the Azvex Neon Raptor thing, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yeah,
Interesting.
they went in, they had their name on a can in a supermarket before they'd actually even released a beer commercially. I think that's quite clever.
Yeah.
That's pretty. That's putting your name. That's pulling up that tank on somebody else's grass. Talking of tanks on in other people's gardens, I think the highlight for me this year has to be the Vava collab that we did,
Of course.
Yeah.
and
The Moskva.
Putin's Unsinkable Moskva. The amount of flack I've got for that beer is unbelievable.
To be fair, if you're annoying people, you're probably doing something right.
Yeah, I thought that.
I'm not going to talk about the beer. I just got to show the can wrap.
Oh, that's cool. What's that?
That's a Sure Shot beer.
That's a Sure Shot beer.
That's amazing.
That's
Yeah.
Probably got a name like
copyright
Mr.
infringement.
Potato Head's Big Day Out or something.
That is great. That is great. It's called Not Ever Even Heard of a Potato.
There is no way Disney don't come absolutely flailing in for that one.
It's great.
I've got a beer. My beer of the year, and I've got a video coming out probably tomorrow. Of the double IPA they did called "Bring Me the Head of John the Accountant."
Is that the one that you got from?
From SSV.
Yeah, SSV had some in their fridge.
We were going to review it. Do you remember we were trying to get a glass, and I washed out a glass with water in my sock on the dock in Liverpool. Do you remember that?
I do.
Do you remember?
That's when the guy in the bar came out. It's like, do you want to
That's
rinse your
it.
glass, mate? You're like, yeah.
What about socks?
Why did you need to get the sock involved?
Just
Sorry?
to dry the glass after.
I had to dry the glass. I had a bottle of water, and then I had a clean pair of socks.
What makes it worse? We would have quite happily drunk out of that glass as well. We were quite prepared.
We were standing on a ramp that went into the dock, like a concrete
Into the
ramp,
water.
and I was
Yeah.
washing the glass, ready to do a beer review.
Yeah.
Do you remember? And then we
Yeah.
decided, no, this isn't right.
You weren't washing it out with water out the Mersey, though, were you?
Oh
No.
no, that made the glass dirtier.
Bottle of water.
Yeah, that was. Oh man, there's been some funny moments. There's been some funny. I've really towards the end of last year, I found it really hard. Like our traders, it's got harder and harder and harder. But for us, it was a record year. We sold more beer than we've ever sold ever. And compared to the previous year, we were up 100% on what we did the year before.
There you go.
So it not bad, still not where I want to be, and we're still making a loss, but there's definitely growth there. So I think this year for me, the brewery, we need to buy a venue.
Yeah.
Imagine that.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of benefits to it, but we can control the profit between both. It allows us to make interesting beers, put it straight on cask, test it. And like do stuff that you can't get anywhere else. Like, for instance, we're doing Disco made me do it went horribly wrong for the time frame, but we've rescued the beer. It's actually mental. We imported some different types of special wood blocks that have got loads of surface area from America, and we've put them into big, massive 18-gallon casks. And then we vented them on the top with, like you have on the old demijohns back in the day. So they can bubble away. And they'll be probably ready next year sometime.
Nice.
So that's going to be pretty epic. And we've also got some casks that will be able to go into a pub.
Oh.
So like...
So when is Sleeper being put in a can?
Yeah, we need to get Sleeper Lager in the can, don't we?
You really do.
Yes.
I need
please.
to.
If you do that, I will put in an order straight away for the bar, not just my house, for the bar.
No, I'm doing one for my house. If you can get it ready for like May when it starts to get warm, I'll take like 4 days. Just for barbecue, but we need it.
Haven't you got a fermentation vessel literally dedicated to Sleeper?
Yep.
So you could can it at any time you wanted.
I've been stockpiling. I've got one in now as well. So just constantly, lager last year, I said, let's make a really good lager. We did Pilsner, but it takes too long. Let's make a really good lager and work out what the minimum amount of time is where we feel it's got the depth, it's got the flavor, it's crisp, it's got everything going for it. And we nailed it. It took a few goes, but we nailed it. So what we've been doing is selling that beer. That beer is our number one selling beer above every other beer. This year, we sold actually 40% more of that to second, which is Expedition Blonde.
There you go.
So
I don't think I've had that.
You might not have had Expedition Blonde.
Cask only, though, isn't it? Expedition Blonde.
Yeah, it's cask only. Strictly cask only.
Yeah, I don't think I have.
Sorry to break continuity in the podcast, but I need to take a pee, so I'll be back in a moment.
I do too, actually. So I'm going to leave. I'm going to leave.
Musical interlude.
Yeah, so I'm going to go for a wee, and then you two can talk. No kissing.
Thank God they're gone. They're a right pair, aren't they?
Hey, easy.
Oh God!
Tom's having a wee.
Bad adverts.
Bad adverts.
Ingrowing toenails. Ring John's mobile 07624 319 264.
Love it. I love it. So what were we just talking about there? We're talking about the price of things and Lord's Brewing in general. Sleeper Lager for me is right up there with the Arbor Lager in terms of the best lagers I've had this year. Best new lager I've tried this year. Sleeper, I probably drank more of that than any other lager this year. And then when you think about it, that's a big statement.
That's a huge statement.
Yeah. I don't think I've drunk more of any lager than Sleeper Lager. Brew London, I had a skinful of it. I didn't. That's the funny thing about Brew London. I look back on it, and I went to some really good brewery stalls, and I had some really good beer. But the beer that I wanted to drink more than any other was Sleeper Lager.
Funny, isn't it?
Yeah.
Go to a craft beer festival like that, probably 400 beers in the palm of your hand, and you want to drink a lager.
Yeah. And I said Budvar were there as well, and I love Budvar. I got a funny story about a beer festival in Budvar this year as well. But yeah, for that 2 days at Brew London, Sleeper was the one.
It was the beer. Was it 4%?
Yeah, it is 4% flat.
It's the beer that I do remember. It was the beer that I went back to, just like a baseline beer. If obviously you want a beer, you want to chat, you want to mingle, and you want to have a beer in your glass, don't you? And it was just a bit that I went back to as a baseline just to sort of recover off a little bit. I don't know, but I mean that in a nice way.
I think the last 12 months or so, I've really rediscovered kind of low ABV beers. I think because I've been kind of drinking I was drinking a lot of non-alcoholic beers as well, whilst I was bang on my diet at the early stages of last year.
Yeah.
I was looking at the breweries who were doing low ABV beers or lower sort of sub 4% beers. And there's some extraordinary breweries that are doing some incredible beers.
Yeah.
My beer of the year 2 years ago was a Verdant 3.8. So
People, money, space, time.
That's the one. I've just ordered another 6-pack of that. I've just done another freshly brewed batch. I've just ordered another 6-pack of it because it's just that good. It's that good, you know. But like I say, I'm just saying that the lager I drank more than any other last year, John, was yours because it was just that good. It was that good.
It is
Thank
good,
you, man.
and it does need canning.
Yeah, like I say, when you think about it from a lager perspective, everyone goes back to lager. I don't care who they are. Everyone goes back to a lager in the summer. And for that
it's true.
That I drank the most of, tells a story.
And it doesn't give you a bad hangover as well. I found I was pretty all right with it because it's so pure. There's not a lot really in there.
Good quality. Yeah.
Unlike the Weiss beer that turns me into a leaky radiator and gives me the headache of all headaches.
The Weiss beer is fantastic, but it keeps me over the legal drink drive limit for 8 days. Even if I only have 1 pint, it's quite it's a bizarre thing.
We sent our bottle beers that we made for testing, and they all came back and they were a whole point over. So I'm glad I didn't make the labels for those. So we did. We were, to be fair, we were experimenting with them. We've done. We did them old school. And we've added sugar and added yeast.
Yeah,
for a double fermentation. So I think really it goes without saying that it's probably going to be over. But they're meant to be special edition bottles, so they'll be coming out.
You don't mind it then, do you?
No, I think the plan for me is I'm going to go all bottle pretty much this year, with cans released quarterly or thirdly throughout the year.
With the costs involved in canning, especially if you're outsourcing, I think you're going to see a lot of breweries do the same.
Yeah. So
it's funny that 2 years ago, everyone was doing the opposite.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the heyday, though, isn't it? 2 years ago was the heyday, really. Everyone was buying beer for their homes, not, and because I presume, John, if you were to do bottle, you'd manually do it.
Yeah, it's all handmade, 100%.
So you haven't got to send your beer out.
No, everything's done. We keep control of it. There's less chance of it going wrong. We're like, I took a few bottles home. The abandoned car on bottle is just unflipping believable.
I need to have that beer again.
Yeah,
I'll send you some blank bottles for you to review and just try. That is for such a lower ABV porter.
What's it, 4.6?
I want to say it's 4.8, or 4.9. I think it's 4.9. In bottle, it is.
It's one of the best no nonsense porters I've ever had. I'm not saying it to blow smoke up your ass.
Yes, you were.
You dirty.
Yeah, but then you put orange. Then you put orange zest in it and made it roll shit with that sunset cocoa, didn't you?
Yeah. Oh dear. You'll never let me forget that, will you?
Sorry,
To be fair though, every chocolate, Mark's dying again. Every chocolate orange stout or port I've had since then has also been shit. So it's not just you.
Yeah.
I've got one for you.
Go on.
One chocolate. It's a stout, not a porter. If that makes sense.
What is that? What is that, John? Sorry to interrupt you there, Tom. What is that?
No, sorry, Karen. What? Yeah, I'm intrigued. What is it?
I like the can.
I've run out of beer, so I'm going back to my.
I mean, look at the story on there. You can read that. I'll be
You're on the port, John.
I'm going back to the reserve port.
Oh, it was a port. I thought it was a can. I thought it was a beer can.
Paul said, "Love the can." I was like,
"What?" I was like, "What is that? That looks amazing. I want to read it. I want to drink it." Oh, it shrunk.
It did.
It came out of a box. That's a posh looking bottle of port, isn't it?
Well, this is. I'm kind of wanting our beer to look. I'm going old school this year. I'm bringing old school back, baby.
Bringing else, you can start drinking mead.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I love mead. I
Insist
discovered
on it.
mead this year. Beautiful.
I had some mead. Well, them lads in London who do the mead. I've got the name of their brewery or meadery, should I say? They gave me a couple of cans, and I was like,
Oh, they gave us cans at Brew London, didn't they?
"Yeah."
They did.
I was gonna I drank one. I was gonna review it. I couldn't be bothered. It was just too sweet.
What were they called?
Sweet dreams are made of mead. Who am I to disagree?
The London meadery.
I made some. Well, is brewed the right word for mead?
I suppose meaded.
Yeah.
You made it. You meaded it.
I meaded it. I brewed my own about 18 months ago. Last Christmas it was good. This Christmas it's fantastic.
Oh.
Yeah, long. It's difficult to get. Like if you try it after, like beer's normally good after like a month, and gets a little bit better with age. But
Last
whatever.
Christmas he made it. The very
But
next
the,
day, it broke his heart.
Yeah, try mead after two months, and you'll be like, "What is this petrol that I've created?" It's absolutely awful. But then, like, leave it, and it gets it's good now.
So those complex sugars.
Mm.
Rich sugars.
Oh, I want to get my peach lager out.
You what?
Oh,
I knew that I'd get that reaction. And I think that is where it's at. We were meant to launch Counting Condors last year.
I thought it was a beach lager at first. Peach.
Yeah.
I might for a peach lager.
Yeah,
I've got no time for sanding lagers, mate. That'd do nothing for me.
yeah. So we're gonna attempt to get it done this year. We got offered so many collabs last year, and we just didn't have the time or the resources. So the ones that we're definitely doing are going to be
incredible. It's like Barney Gumble out of The Simpsons. It's like I'm in most heaven.
Is we're doing one with Offset for definite. That's like
Good one.
Yeah,
that's due very soon with the Rat and Ratchet pub. So we're doing Lord Rat. It's
Rat
gonna
and
be
Ratchet.
yeah, it's gonna be
It's
good.
a great name for a boozer, isn't it?
It's gonna be, Rat and Ratchet is great. I've never taken you to the Rat and Ratchet, have I? Or the Riverhead Tap.
Why does everything begin with an R? Rat and Ratchet.
Because they're all in Yorkshire, and everything starts with Ra.
Pub.
I need to take you to those two pubs. They're both brew pubs in Huddersfield.
Does it kick off a lot in the Rat and Ratchet?
No.
I can't get the feeling it should.
No, not at all.
No.
White Rat. You've had White Rat.
Yeah, I've had White Rat, yeah.
I've had White Rat.
Yeah, that was made at that.
You were drinking
little
White
brewery
Rat in Leeds.
Leeds.
That was the first pint you had, and then I introduced you to Loom, and you were like, what am I doing? Why don't I just drink this?
Loom is very nice. Jamie wants us to have a night out as well.
We have got to organise that. That's
going to be quality.
We should get him down to Creative. I should just invite him down to Creative. Just have a massive piss up, have a lock in there.
That'd be good. Yeah.
Would be good.
Should do it. What was I going to say? So we nearly got to the end of the year. We got to York Beer Festival. We missed. Was Nottingham Beer Festival after York's?
Yeah, so Nottingham Beer Festival was mid-October. Are we there yet?
No. We did York. We didn't really talk about York Beer Festival. What were the pluses of York? I was kind of sad and kind of elated all at once.
I think York had a lot going for it, but equally had a lot that wasn't going for it. Like, I think it was the atmosphere was dead. One thing that was going for it was the beer selection, as Camera always does. There's some really good stuff on, but I think the stuff that I personally was interested in ran out quite quickly, and I think you were pretty done by the time Saturday came. Or no, was it Saturday? Yeah, it was Saturday, wasn't it? By the time Saturday came around, and we ended up going to York, didn't we?
We did. They completely. I mean, our bar got demolished in the first few days, or the first day, first and second day. We were nearly sold out of everything. Brew York were next door to us. I mean, for me, so these are the positives. York Beer Festival, in the history of Lord's Brewing Co, was the first ever beer festival I'd properly been to that was big. And Bad Seed Brewing, Brass Castle, Brew York really made me feel genuinely like, oh, you're another brewer, you're a brewery, have a beer. They were giving us free beers, they were encouraging us. And I was like, holy cow, this is an amazing trade. I've never seen anything like it. And then a few years later to be next to them at the very same festival was a really big deal for me. The sad bit was there was no Brass Castle, there was no Bad Seed. And for me, I was gutted. I was genuinely gutted. Ossett were there, obviously, as well.
Yeah, but it's so cask centric, though, isn't it? You're gonna put off those guys. You're gonna put off, Brass Castle, and they don't want you serving keg really there. But I mean, they want it a little bit because it ticks a box, but it's not encouraged, is it?
Well, no, they were all right. Like, I'd say they were all right.
That Brass Castle still have quite a strong cask game.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah. I was about to say they were at Nottingham on cask. I'm sure they were.
And they're good fun. The guys are hilarious. They're top lads. I've got nothing bad to say about them at all. Every interaction I've always had with them, they're very like us, really. They just don't give two hoots what anybody else thinks. They just get on with it.
They have lovely hair.
They do. They're wild. They're all punk rockers.
Double denim and Mohicans.
Yeah, I love it. And they're just.
It's a look.
Yeah,
it's a strong look.
Yeah, they're good fun. Good guys. Always, no matter how small we were, they always had the time for us. Same with Brew York and Bad Seed. So yeah, the only other one that was very sad not to see there was Great Heck Brewery, which went bust during the year before. So very sad.
It's been a year for that, though, isn't it? I mean, some of the breweries that have fallen off the cliff are just it's mental.
Well, when you came up for Brew York, I didn't know if we were going to survive.
Well, I think who was it? Who was it had just gone at Brew? Someone had just gone at Brew York. I remember. Was that Nomadic?
Yeah, time? Nomadic went, and there was another one.
I couldn't believe that.
Not a big one. Another big one.
I couldn't believe the Nomadic one. That was a shocker. And we had wild beer, didn't we, just before Christmas? That
we did.
Went into trouble.
Yeah.
That again is a shocker.
Mm.
Well, I mean, Nomadic, wild beer,
Badco.
Three sods. Who I loved.
Question mark over S43.
Yeah.
S43. Yeah, I heard Burning Sky. Possibly a little question mark over them. I might have got that wrong, but I believe there was a question mark over those guys.
Jesus, please not Burning Sky. Please not Burning Sky.
That might be totally false. I do apologise if it is, but I'm sure I read something about that.
What's a brewery?
The difficult thing is, I'll be honest, if we didn't have really good investors, we'd be gone. Gone. No doubt. So it's really rough out there for brewers, and you've got a few problems. So we do okay because we supply a lot of big chains with various beers, but those big chains give us next to nothing compared to what they give to the likes of Timmy Taylor's for their beer. So Timmy Taylor's is probably getting twice what we are, but they are paying twice the duty. But they're still making more of a margin. They'll be making 60%, where we'll be lucky if we make 40%. And they've got obviously buying power, all that kind of stuff. So the risk we have is if we don't look after our smaller breweries or even our meta breweries to a certain point, we're going to end up in a place where Coors, AB InBev, all those guys, they'll buy up all the brands, and we'll all be drinking the same 4 beers.
That is it, isn't it?
It's going back to how it was in the late 70s, early 80s.
It's a strange.
But what is good?
Happy Christmas.
He's
Very
got
late
the
Christmas.
old Christmas novelties out as well. Look.
I've had that knocking around for weeks.
I tell you what, it's not bad this year. It's not bad at all.
I like Blitzen. It's good beer.
But what is a good thing is the amount of small breweries that are still out there doing it. You know, you've only got to go on Trembling Man's website and see the selection of beers from, you know, people like Three Hills, New Bristol Brewery. You know, not the big guys. You know, I'm not talking Verdant, Stayers, Cloudwaters, those guys, but you know, there's still guys out there doing it and giving it a bloody good go. So you hope that by the time all this goes away, we've still got some fantastic breweries on the scene.
Oh,
Yeah.
I hope so. I mean, I'm worried. I'm genuinely worried and excited for this year because it really is a roll of the dice, and it could go either way. We are in a recession, there's no doubt, but I think it'll be fairly shallow. There's a lot of money knocking around.
Certainly is. There certainly is. Seems like more people, individuals with it, rather than organisations these days.
It's true, isn't it? That's a very true statement.
That's what it feels like. But yeah, that's what we're talking
Crummy's
about.
Crummy's not agreeing. What do you think, Crummy?
What Crummy's doing, he's sitting on about $6.2 billion worth of Bitcoin, and he's going to just unload it on us at one time.
Say nothing.
Absolutely no chance. I wish I was. Being in the industry I'm in, I knew about Bitcoin when it was worth nothing and wasn't quite sensible enough to get some. But anyway, never mind. No, it's just interesting. I feel like I'm talking to more people who feel like they have less money now, but I'm not in a position where I'm working in retail or service to see people with the money. So that's you know what I mean? So I don't, it's a different, slightly skewed. My interactions with people is people going, I can't afford anything. It's not people going, doesn't feel like people have the money at the minute. But that, again, it just depends on who you're interacting with.
I mean, personally, I'm absolutely skinned at the moment, but at the same time, it's, I don't know. I guess that was another big thing during lockdown. I did meme stocks and was able to pay my mortgage off and pay my debt off. So whilst I don't have any cash floating around for me, at least I cleared everything that I ever owe.
That's amazing. You've got no mortgage to pay.
I'll take that position, mate, every single day of the week.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah, but it's pure chance, you know, pure chance.
But it just depends, doesn't it? I mean, not everybody's on the breadline. Like people, not being funny, like people that I talk to, it's just a case of scaling back. Maybe that big 2-week trip to America they were talking about for 10 grand. Now it's going to Spain for 4. Do you know what I mean? And it's like making little nips like that. And me and my wife are the same. You know, when my cousin's getting married in America in September, we're not going to that. We're going to go to France on a £650 camping holiday for 2 weeks. Do you know what I mean? And it's like, it's just knowing. I think that's.
But I think beer's an easy one where that will take effect.
Pardon? Sorry.
Beer's an easy place where that kind of mentality will take effect. Why spend £5 to £7 on a can when you can spend $3.50?
It is, especially with the price rises. But I think that's where breweries have just got to be a little bit clever.
They've got to convince people, haven't they? They've got to convince people that this is the beer that they need to drink.
That's why I want to do QR lager, baby. Sleeper QR lager. Get all them QR codes on there. Get people involved. Get people, get people on there advertising on my cans. Even if I can bring the cost of the beer down by 50% production cost, then we can sell it a lot cheaper and we can compete with supermarkets.
But you're talking about it already, though. You're talking about your brewery instead of outsourcing the can inside. keeping the bottling in house. That's going to save an absolute fortune.
Yeah.
And you'll find that you might not want to do that double IPA that you planned on doing next year. That's going to be a 4.2% pale ale, or do you know what I mean? And and you've got to adapt. Businesses have to adapt. It's as simple as that.
We're just gonna literally whatever cask we're making, and we like the beers, we're gonna bottle, and we're gonna make them into bottles and do a double fermented version. They're going to be small batch. So if you're a subscriber to the Lord's beer box, you're going to get some really good beers, really interesting stuff that you can't get anywhere else. You won't necessarily be able to get it. Well, can shops won't have it because, I mean, honestly, I've never seen so many bottle and beer can shops shut as recently. Yeah. They're really getting hit hard at the moment.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say when we were talking about breweries closing before, so I was going to say it's a little bit odd that actually Nottingham we've not had one brewery go yet. And there's a lot. There's a lot for a relatively small geographical area.
That's crazy, isn't it?
But the bottle shops are going. They are closing. So it's interesting.
It's sad because every time you see one, it's a story, it's a dream, it's a family.
Yeah. I'm just going to go for a quick wee-wee. Pardon me.
Oh, thank you. Oh, yeah. Paul, you're not having to lay down, are you?
No.
He's going to go to sleep again, isn't he? He'll be back
goes for occasionally when we do big live streams, he goes for a lie down when he comes back.
He does, doesn't he?
And he looks a bit dazed. And he's like, I just had a lie down for like half an hour. So, yeah, it's been... have we covered everything this year?
That's pretty much taken us up to Christmas, mate, to be honest.
Pretty much, yeah. I didn't say much about Nottingham Beer Festival. I'll tell you what, the highlight for that for me, the beer obviously was fantastic as always, but that was the first time I would been invited to a beer festival as someone in the trade. And got given a ticket. That was like a nice. Yeah. That was a nice turning point in someone's taking me seriously. Clearly, so that was a nice.
That's really nice.
But I've been every year for a long time. It's always fantastic. So I'm not gonna bleat on too much about that because I think it's probably. I'm gonna go on a whim and say it's definitely the best. I don't know. I've not done that many others to say. From what I've heard other people say, I reckon it's probably the best, if not definitely the best, camera festival outside of London.
And that's the craft beer festival.
No, Nottingham Beer Festival, the camera one. And they had a lot more keg and craft, and there's a lot more variety there this year as well in that regard.
See, this is the thing. This is the thing. A lot of the camera, and this is where I think camera need to adapt a little bit. And I know it's a campaign for real ale. I understand that it's in the title. I do understand, but if they don't adapt, their time's going to run out, and people are getting the hump with camera. That's a fact.
100%.
If they were to adapt and just bring in a bit more of another side of the business, they're still supporting the breweries that produce the cask.
Yeah.
And if they could do that, their beer festivals would be knockout every single time if they had like a dedicated keg area or.
And that's what they've had. That's what they've had at Nottingham. In fact, they've had two really, because they had the kind of, I guess, what you call the guest keg area. So, like, obviously, a normal camera beer festival, it's just rows on rows of different cask, and then they have a pretty sizable section that is keg from all over the country. And then, in addition to that, they had a massive area where 4 or 5 local craft brewers that were predominantly keg, although they had the option of what they would run, but most of them were keg, could do their own thing. They all had their own little bars in this dedicated kind of separate bit that felt much more. It didn't feel very camera. Let's put it that way.
But that's a good thing.
Yeah, yeah. Because it gives variety all in the same stage.
I'll give you a little insight. I got an email that came through onto our website, and it said, "Dear head brewer, please send me a list of all the beers that you're making. We're Bradford Camera Beer Festival, and we'd like this and we'd like that, and we'd be going this long, and really long-winded email. I mean, it's just like. So I just emailed back, why are you emailing my head brewer? They don't sell beer? ?
Funny we're talking about camera. I had an email from our local camera inspector. I thought that's the official title.
No, they're meant to be called brewery liaison officers.
Oh, it's always is an inspector. He's got inspector in his name, in his job title. And that's how they've titled it in the email. And he said, "Oh, we'd love to come and see the tap room and see what changes have been made since we were last there." And I'm like, he said, "We'll either be down it'll either be down on Thursday or Friday." And I'm like, "Okay, as long as you're here during the actual opening hours, because I don't want you here when we're closed." But it's just weird. It's just the way they talk to you, the way they approach it, rather than just, "Oh, we'd love to come down and have a beer." I'll be like, "Yeah, cool. These are opening hours." They say it as if they're kind of above you, which I find is weird.
The lords and gatekeepers almost.
Yeah,
Yeah.
about them. There's a guy coming. He's either coming tomorrow or Friday. He wants to come and have a beer and inspect the place. And I'm like, what gives you the right? Do you know what I mean?
There's no just so you know though. So this is the problem with camera. It's a voluntary based structure. So I'm telling you now, there is no such thing as a brewery inspector. What he's doing is he sent you an email because no one's checked on him, and he's basically claiming that he's coming in inspecting you. He has no right to inspect you at all. So if he wants to, he basically wants a free brewery tour so he can look around at what you're doing and whatever. But the camera do not carry any kind of, they don't inspect anybody. They come and enjoy your beer, try it out. If you want to do a brewery tour, that's fine. But all you should have is a brewery liaison officer. So if somebody's calling themselves an inspector, I'd encourage you to report it back to camera head office, as I did recently when they published my brother-in-law's personal mobile number in the Good Beer Guide.
Oh, wow. Goodness me.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, but apparently that was my fault because I hadn't told them.
Oh, dear. So I was just watching Tom subtly pour himself a Ben Riach. What one is that?
This is it's called the Original 10. So it's 10-year-old 3-cask mature.
Ooh, very nice.
That's a lovely colour.
I don't know anything about whiskey. That is totally lost on me. That
I picked this up last time I was in Scotland. I picked this up and I just walked into the whiskey shop and Dictionary Corner. For those who aren't familiar with my channel, that's just my other half. I don't know where she got that name from, but she sits in the corner and gets back, so she's Dictionary Corner. Laughs at me every time because I wait till I get to Scotland to buy Scotch whiskey, but I always end up buying it from the whiskey shop, of which there is one in Nottingham, so it makes no difference whatsoever. I do it anyway. I don't always buy it from there, but quite often. And I just walked in and I was like, recommend me something that's not overly peated, because that always gives me indigestion. I like the idea of it, it just doesn't like me very much.
Yeah,
really?
Yeah, I'd love to be able to drink like the proper Highlands and Islands stuff, but it just doesn't get on with me.
Oh man, that's the one that I don't feel like I'm going to throw up on.
What,
that's interesting.
Yeah, really peaty, roasty stuff. Oh yeah, absolutely.
I'll get her with the more floral sort of caramel.
Yeah, floral and sweet, all the space side stuff. So I was just like, yeah, recommend me something. And I was like, trying to not make it too expensive. This is not, I know that this is not a whiskey podcast. This is probably a thing for another time. The price inflation on bottles of whiskey in the last year is insane.
Really?
Insane. Yeah, so this is an extreme example, but it is happening across the board pretty much. A Talisker 15-year-old, I want to say, last year or 18 months ago was 85 quid a bottle, and now varies anywhere between 180 and 200 quid a bottle.
What? Christ.
Yeah, it's double.
Whoa.
Yeah.
And I could tell when I went in and bought that, I was like, right, I'm going to buy myself a nice bottle of whiskey. Nothing excessive, just, not when I'm saying nice, I'm saying 30 to 40 quid. I'm on holiday, trying to support local businesses, whatever. I was like, 30, 40 quid. It's going to last me all week. I'm happy with that. Went in. They got nothing under 40 quid. Nothing.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah,
I'm amazed. I didn't expect that. I wonder why though, because their costs wouldn't really go up.
It's a funny thing, isn't it? Because obviously, if you buy something that's 10, 15 years old, the energy to make that happened 10 or 15 years ago.
Yeah. I mean, they've had to store it, but you store them at atmosphere. It's not temperature controlled.
No.
The atmosphere does. That's what makes it special.
Yeah, a lot of whiskey. That's their selling point, isn't it? It's the fact that they store it in the highest shelves of the distillery and things like that, and they don't let it get anywhere near like artificial temperature. It's all natural temperature. So Jack Daniel's single barrel, for example.
Yeah, it's always it's the barrels in the corners of the distillery that they take.
Yeah, that's it. So they keep it away from heat and sort of.
Is it just pure profiteering?
Oh, of course, most of it is. A lot of it is. Yeah,
but the thing is though, you talk about it there, Tom. You talked about sort of energy costs and stuff. They have to adjust it now because they can't adjust their energy costs by the time the 15-year stuff comes out. Because 15 years later, everyone's going to go, "What the fuck? Well, why the hell are we?" Sorry, John. That's 2 hours, 25 minutes. 50 seconds.
Every time Mark swears, he gives me a timestamp.
It was a bit tongue in cheek. I understand that they're not really going to offset the current energy crisis by 10, 12, 15, 20 years.
No, but it's probably there's a lot in it.
Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, the prices now are really high, more so than beer. So it's a bit odd.
Well, it's a bit like energy. Energy's mental at the moment, and they're like, "Oh, it's because the war. It's this, it's that." And admittedly, Britain's been caught with its pants down, but
at least we're not France.
Well, that's true.
80% of their 80% of natural gas through.
Oh my gosh! Yeah, but the thing is, ultimately, they're showing record profits.
Yeah, which is disgusting.
It is.
It's very terrible. Quickly going to slip into a political podcast if you're not.
We are. We're going down that route. I do this quite often. I have a few drinks and I get really angry at everybody.
Yeah, great summary. I feel like you just need to turn the camera off now. And we can.
Well, I want to throw it out there. What are we going to do next year, boys?
Lots.
There was chat on this Oktoberfest.
Lots of stuff. Yeah, I want to go. Yeah, proper locations. I just want to go to beer festivals. I want to go to like regions of the country and drink their beer. That's what I want to do more this year.
I want to go to Czech and drink.
I want to go Czech. I want to go Czech. I want to go Budva.
Yeah.
I want to go German. I want to go
Bavaria. We could get a banging tour there, couldn't we?
We could do. Yeah. I think
we should chat out Redeem.
Well, we need to chat out Redeem, but we could also do just a car trip or a van trip to Germany and find somewhere to camp in our vans and just do.
So the idea is amazing, but it's like, okay, when do we do it? Because I need to put time off work.
That is the problem. And then everyone will go, "John, when are you free?" And John will go, "I don't know.
Oh, I can't do it." Yeah.
That's what I say all the time. It's true. I never know. I never know when I'm free.
Oh, yeah, man.
He needs to know 6 months in advance, and John doesn't know until a week before, and this is the problem.
It's true. That is pretty much my life. That's something I need to do is make sure I book. Right, we're going to check. We're going to check. We've Mark's put the flights.
We commit. We commit right now to an international beer trip.
Yes.
We commit.
I'd love to go to Czech. I'd love to go to Czech. Or Germany. Or Bavaria, precisely. I've been all over Germany. Pretty much everywhere in Germany is pretty rubbish for beer. Kolsch is good in Cologne, fair play, but Bavaria is the place.
I'll tell you what, let's commit to getting John to give us a date well in advance, and then we can decide where we're going.
Yeah. Yeah. We have to do it. an international beer trip, not just on our island. An international beer trip this year.
Well, we could go with Tom to Scotland.
Still on the island, but you can.
It's
Also, Nottingham needs to happen soon.
I've done Nottingham.
Yeah, we need to do Nottingham. It's just down the road from me.
No, it's going to be easy. It's got to be done.
Travelodge, 2 nights.
Job
Easy.
done.
Go
Easy.
wild.
I'm keen.
Midweek. We could do midweek and then like a Thursday and a Friday.
Could
I
do that.
want to do midweek.
Well, then
Yeah.
I can get back for the weekend and nurse my hangover and do whatever kid things I need to do.
I get one weekend. One weekend. I get
One
weekend.
weekend?
Yeah, I get one weekend a month off. So I get once a month. I get like 4 days in a row off because the bar's shut Monday and Tuesday.
Mm.
So I could
Well,
do.
we could do an overlap. We could do a Thursday, Friday, and then Saturday as well for Paul.
I could arrange it. I could fix that up.
There you go.
That sounds epic. I want to do it.
We've got to do Nottingham. We've got to do Nottingham because it's easy. We've got to do Nottingham.
Yeah,
do
we
that.
got to do. Well, not for Mark because he's in flipping Norfolk.
Yeah, but nowhere's easy for me, mate.
Yeah, it's
No
true.
way it's easy for
Norfolk's the back of beyond, isn't it?
The
Got
arse
a
end of the
mega
arse
hospital.
end.
So it's Norfolk. You don't live on an island.
Basically is, mate.
Norfolk's really hard to get in and out of. It's all
Yeah.
A roads.
Why?
All
It
A
is.
roads.
How cheap must your house be?
It was until COVID happened, and then everyone wanted to move out to Norfolk.
Oh, really? That's
Seems madness.
interesting.
Yeah.
So what caused that? Do you think? Why suddenly Norfolk? Like it's full of air. It's all where the RAF and American air bases. And...
Yeah, it is if you go over that side, but you come over where we are, it's a lot more like we're like 5 minutes from the Broads here. And it's beautiful.
It is beautiful. I have
Yeah.
never seen dirt so dark as when I went to Norfolk.
Dark dirt.
It's just really black dirt. The
I'll have to
dirt
get his-
is black.
I'll have to get his number.
Dirty dark.
So we saw these. I think they were cabbages or cauliflowers, like growing in a field. And the
Sugar beet, mate.
is that what it was? And the dirt. I've never seen it. The mud was like jet black. Dirt.
Right, I need to go because my baby's crying and my wife's very angry with me
Was she angry with you?
because it's midnight and she's got to get up at 5.
The baby is Mark's fault.
It's true.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we have done 2 hours and 43 minutes, so this
That's
might
a
be a good point to wind up the podcast.
Yeah, probably.
So, thank you everybody for watching and listening. And we got very melancholic to the end of this podcast, but I enjoyed it. It was a beautiful thing. So,
the first time we've had a beer together for a while, so it needed to be done.
yeah, it's
agree.
been nice. It's been emotional, boys.
It's been emotional.
So here's to 2023. No matter
Happy
what
New
the
Year.
adversity is,
Happy New Year, everyone.
we're going to smash this bad boy.
Happy New Year. Slags.
Happy New Year.
Nice one.
And we've-
Cheers, guys.
We've hit some low points, so I think we can only go up from here.
Yeah.
It's a lot of editing, John. It's a lot of editing.
True. So, thank you for watching, everybody. This podcast, if you've liked the microphone that I'm talking through in this headset, you can find it on the Fee-Fine Amazon link that I'll put in the description. If you like Crummy's checkered shirt, please email him at Tom the Crummy Beard
Only
and
one of
at
these is very
Gmail.
expensive.
Yeah. And if you like Paul's beer review t-shirts, they're available on our website. And if you want to send hate mail, please fire it over to the Craft Beer Hub.
You can find me at Lord's Brewing Company, Golka.
Like Mark's
Oh,
shelving
God.
unit. Mark's shelving unit. Just go to homebase.co.uk and they'll have it there.
Wrong way. There you
Oh, and also we got a new I've got a new YouTube channel because I've got into I like cars and aircraft
taking his
and
clothes
boats
off.
and trains
Yeah.
and everything. So it's called Nerd in Motion. Look us up, Nerd in Motion. Go over there and you'll see the silly car stuff that I do. So yeah,
There you go.
awesome. Speak soon.
Cheers,
Bye, guys.
everyone.
Ta-da!